Welcome to the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport. On radio, on digital, and on the ABC Listen app.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
Well, you've got to go back to round 10, 1999 to find the last time that St Kilda triumphed at Kardinia Park on a day where Robert Harvey had 24 disposals and Barry Hall kicked 4. Today seems like a bit of a monumental task against the Cats, who'll be fired up after a loss to GWS last week and who, for the moment, sit outside the top 4 with an opportunity to go back inside this afternoon. It would be a pretty big upset in recent memory. But what has Ross Lyon got for us in store, I wonder, this afternoon? Good afternoon and welcome to Kardinia Park. It is Geelong and St Kilda. My name is Andrew Mays and calling the action alongside me this afternoon will be Joel Peterson. Joel, hello.
G'day, Maisie. Good to see you. Yeah, so they've lost their last 12 here by an average of 45 points, the Saints. It hasn't been a happy hunting ground for them whatsoever. They were pretty gallant against the Swans last week. Geelong not so against the Giants in a game that they absolutely owned. And the guns didn't fire for them last week, the Cats. So what have they got bouncing back today? Of course, they are in the race for September. A win today, they will be 2 games clear inside the top 8. So with games dwindling as we come into the run to September, that could be very important indeed.
It is a season-shaping afternoon. Looking forward to calling the action alongside you. Just the team news as well. De Koning and Stengel in for the Cats this afternoon for Stevens and Henry. For St Kilda, Burns and Wilson back into the team, and Garcia and Butler are the 2 that are out. The subs this afternoon will be Jack Bowes for the Cats and Hunter Clark for the Saints. Now, I did mention their last win back in 1999, last millennium. A man who was playing that afternoon, St Kilda champion Hall of Famer Nathan Burke is one of your experts this afternoon. Hello, Burkie.
Hello, Maisie and Joel. Yes, what you're telling me is that it's possible.
It is.
It's possible. Back in 1999, I'm tipping if we weren't on the bottom, we could touch it from there. So very similar to the Saints today, and so we're a chance. It's added a new flavour to this game with that bit of information.
Absolutely. Look forward to maybe reminiscing a little bit about that match, if you can remember any.
That's all right. I watched the whole thing yesterday, so we've got the detail.
I love it. I love it. Looking forward to the rundown. Our other member of our commentary team up here in the box this afternoon, Hawthorn champion. Spent a bit of time at Carlton as the AFLW coach. Daniel Harford, good afternoon to you.
Well, you forgot my 9 games of brilliance, did you, as a Carlton player?
Sorry,
straight to the coach. What about the 9 games of brilliance, Maisie? Good afternoon to you, Joel and Berkey. Don't forget the 9 games.
One of the great number 2s of all time.
That's right. 1999 was a long time ago. Even I was playing back then.
Yep.
99. Goodness me. We must have all been crapped in at that time, I reckon, Berkey. That's how it sounds to me. If I go back that far. I am looking forward to this game, though, because the Kilda have been pests the last couple of weeks. They've made life hard for the opposition. They've played some quality, too. Sydney Freo and Hawthorn Freo and Collingwood outside of Sydney last week, in the last month. It's pretty good opposition, and they haven't been that far off it, so they'll make the Cats earn their feed tonight.
What's the most important thing for them this afternoon? I mentioned Ross Lyon off the top. If you're him telling the troops or giving the troops the final message, what's the important thing you're telling them?
Oh, you just got to stop the flow from the contest from the Cats, the way they break out of contest and use the ball from stoppage and through the middle of the ground. You've got to stop that, and I've got a feeling Ross might have a plan for that today.
We've seen Berkey, I think, with the Saints. Obviously, the talent, and they are still missing a number of players, but the ability of Ross to take away an opposition's strengths is still pretty viable, and he seems to be doing a good job in that regard. What do you think they need to prove today? Do they need a scalp in the last 6 or 7 games just to know that they're on the right track?
Look, they do, because the fact is, yes, they've been competitive, but they haven't been winning. And I think it was way back in April almost, before last time they actually won a game. So it's like 11 or 12 in a row that they've lost. And Ross didn't take on the job as coach to be the coach of honourable losses. The supporters, if you're close, well, why can't you win? And today, it's about coming down here not to put up a good effort and see how close we can get. You come to this ground, Geelong are beatable here. I think the last 2 seasons we've seen them probably lose more games here than they ever have in the sort of 5-6 years previous to that. So I want them to come here with the attitude of let's take this game on and win it.
Yeah, interesting. What about for the Cats, Half? I mean, they didn't really turn up last week. They were quite disappointing. I think everyone thought they'd just go and check the box and get the job done against GWS, who turned up ready to play. What about for them this afternoon?
Well, it's time to start tightening the screws for them too. I mean, you talked about the game last week against the Giants, but you go back 3 weeks against the Brisbane Lions and they got mauled as well. So they've got to find their mojo coming into the back end of the season and get their groove. A couple of key ins, I reckon, today with De Koning and Stengel. I like those additions to the squad. De Koning's a really important magnet, I reckon, for Chris Scott in the back half of the ground, and just allows other players to get off the chain a little bit and become a bit more attacking. But I think this is a really important game for the Cats as well, because they know they'll be up in a fight against the Saints this afternoon. The way they'll try and congest the contest and get numbers up around the footy, and then they'll numbers back and flood forward, go wide, although you can't go too wide here at Kardinia Park because of the dimensions of the ground. But I reckon it's time to start tightening some screws here for the Cats and be a bit more efficient with their ball use going forward. Work out how their matchups in the middle of the ground are going to look in September. Obviously, Holmes and Bailey Smith are two of the key factors there, and what they do around that. Dempsey on the wing is a really important factor. I just reckon they need to be better, the Cats. They've been a bit hit and miss in the last month, and I don't reckon Chris got to be too wrapped about that.
Looking forward to seeing how it plays out this afternoon. The final member of our team here down at Kardinia Park is Lauren Borden, who's on the boundary. What a cracking afternoon, Loz.
Thanks, Maisie. It is. It's nice and pleasant conditions down here. Not too much wind at all. About 14 degrees, so nice enough to be out here on a Sunday afternoon. Of course, St Kilda are celebrating Carl Wilkie's 150th game, so it probably beats, I'm sure July would have been a pretty busy time for him as an accountant, a tax return time, getting those things done, getting everything sorted after the financial year, and now he's played 150 games consecutively since debut, so probably nicer for him as well to be out here on Kardinia Park on a Sunday, but a real achievement for him as well. And just as you mentioned, just repeating that Jack Bowes and Hunter Clark come to the benches as the subs for their respective sides, Maisie.
Tips this afternoon, Daniel Harford?
Geelong for me, although Wanganeen Miller and starting in the middle is a good thing for the Saints.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Berkey, your tip?
Saints by a point.
Oh,
I like that.
that would be a fun afternoon.
Did I see Loz with roof oil down there before too?
She's got a blanket over the knees, like fitting in like a local.
It's a stunning afternoon here. What are the Cats and the Saints got in store? Here's Joel Peterson.
The big guns around the middle for the Cats. Dangerfield, Holmes and Smith start at the opening stoppage. The bounce was a little bit askew, but Bailey Smith is there. He's tackled by Steele. High kick out of the stoppage goes the way of the Saints, and Zach Guthrie floats in defensive side of the centre circles to take the mark. Geelong 11-6 on the season. The Saints 5-12, having lost their past 5. As Berkey said, they haven't won since May.
Young Taru looks like he's lining up on Jeremy Cameron, which is a big ask for a young fella in his first handful of games.
What a challenge for him. Cameron's got the footy in line with the centre circles, kicks inside the 50. Dangerfield has it. He's dispossessed, goes to ground. Hill's tackled by Manor. Ball up 40 out from the Cats' goal at the river end in this opening turn.
Hill gets to his feet, leaves the ball for the umpire, who clears a bit of space behind him, tosses things up. Blitzar's won it down only as far as McRae, though, who squeezes a kick forward. Didn't really go too far in the end. And taking the mark is Mullen. Most players in front of him, so it is a packed forward 50. He goes deep. Neil from 3 deep almost grabbed it. Manor there at ground level. He's mobbed immediately. We'll have another stoppage, this time inside the forward pocket. So the Saints doing a fair bit of defending in these opening 90 seconds. No team on the scoreboard as of yet.
Right forward pocket here for the Cats. Neil, the ruck work and the roving. Try to farm the handball up to Manor. Caminiti's kick smothered by Humphreys. Spills to ground inside forward 50 for the Cats. Dempsey has a go at it in game 50 for him this afternoon for Geelong. Dragged underneath again. Windhager, so busy last week. Somehow got it away to Taru. He's tackled. And we'll do it all again, still inside 50 for Geelong. Partly cloudy skies down here at the Cattery, but light breeze and not too bad a day. Nice day to be out on Corio Bay in the boat, I would have thought. McRae tumbles it down the line. Turned over. De Koning back into the team for Geelong this week. Handball to Stewart. Made it difficult for Stanley. The former Saint has his kick smothered in the middle of the ground. Now the turnover. Owens takes it away for St Kilda. Finds Sharman. Kicks out wide to Wood. Wood's got it 70 from home. The local boy rolls onto his left boot. Sends it deep over the head of Heath. And guess who? Stewart is there to intercept for Geelong.
Nasai, Wanganeen Miller are out wide too, all on his own. He gets it to Guthrie. Guthrie inboard to Holmes, who thought about going immediately and stopped. Found Humphreys right on the wing in front of the interchange benches. And a man who normally uses it beautifully puts that out of bounds on the full in front of Stengel. So a free kick going the way of the Saints.
I hope the Saints forwards coach talks to his forwards. They had 4 of them streaming back to the goal square. Not one of them turned around and came back at Mason Wood for an easy hit up, marking the ball 30 metres out from goal.
Wilkie with the free kick, and then he was punched away from Marshall in the end for a boundary throw in right in front of the interchange benches. We haven't had a score as of yet. We've played 3 minutes in the opening term.
So the Saints are happy for Sam De Koning to be the free. Owens is going to Tom Stewart and trying to keep him away from that free position, which he rotates through the back half of the Cats so often.
Daniel Harford alongside Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport this afternoon. Ball tossed back in front of the interchange gates. High tackle there from Holmes on Windhager. 36 touches for Marcus Windhager last week, the youngest Saint to ever have 35 or more. Got it right on halfway. The broadcast side of the ground here at Kidinia Park. Back to Caminiti at the top of the defensive 50. Awkward kick, but Sinclair collected it on the bounce. Shoots it out wide by foot to Taru. Either side really getting their game going through the opening 4 minutes. Taru now on the right boot. Sends it long up the line. Straight to Jack Henry. He got interfered with in the marking contest. Heath did enough to worry him out of it. Spilled to ground. Hall was there for the Saints. Handball forward. Stewart pounces on it. Grabs it out of the air, the bouncing ball, and shoots the kick forward to Humphries.
How is he with his disposal this time? A little better. Just getting caught in the sun there was Cameron, who was trying to shield his eyes, and Taru comes across and makes a nice defensive spoil out of play. Inside attacking 50 now for the Cats. It's a little bit of a tame start. Both teams not really getting much run and gun happening at the moment. No score as of yet. We're approaching the 5-minute mark in this opening term. Neil palmed it down. Manor on hands and knees, then dives on it. Does he have to get this out? No. We'll have a ball up, almost on the logo of attacking 50 for the Cats.
Still no score on the board for either side. Big day of footy coming your way as well. Collingwood Freo, and our South Australian audience off to Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns. The nightcap, which is going to be terrific. Windhager at the stoppage. Try to get rid of it. Tackled. No free kick for holding the ball. Taru went down the boundary line. Wangadine Miller, he had a Cameron coming over the top trying to ride him like the bucking bronco. Slipped the kick away, down the line. Wood got it to Windhagen, now to Hall, all on the broadcast side wing for the Saints. Chips it forward to Owens. He's got Sharman on if he has a look. Elects to come across the ground toward the Hickey side. Hill now, Steele inside the 50, kicks in that direction and finds the skipper. That was better from the Saints, and Jack Steele's got it 40 metres out directly in front.
It is an element of their game that has improved, I reckon, the Saints. Their ability to transition from back half, deep inside defensive 50, get possession and then really slingshot forward with their numbers bursting back towards goal. I know it didn't work last time that Berkey was sort of talking about with that four-pronged attack, all doing the same thing, but when they can get the ball offline a little bit like we did at centre wing here, it makes a big difference for the defence trying to stop you. That was a good passage of play by the Saints.
They jumped the Cats when they met earlier in the season. Jack Steele for the first of the game. It's barely got the carry. It doesn't have the carry. It's plucked out on the line by Stanley, who was the only man back there. And the Cats go into rebound mode straight away.
Well, it might be coming back because that was a poor kick from Holmes. Found Marshall on the wing, unopposed. Marshall goes inboard. He finds Hill. Right on the edge of the centre square.
Brad Hill playing on a half-back flank, so they want him to running through that middle of the ground, distributing the ball inside 50.
Flares things wide to Caminiti, and then to Wanganeen Miller. And he goes short inboard. It's a dodgy kick. Hill had to become tackler. Wanganeen Miller tried to go and mop up his mess. He receives the hand pass, got out of one tackle. Only gained a couple of metres straight to Myers, and it's a turnover Cats way. Off to Blitzarves, to Dempsey, and now back to Myers, who thought about kicking, still at left half back. Went the hand pass back to Henry instead, and up towards Neil. Blitzarves out the back, did the roving, then kicks long to an open forward line. There's a couple of Cats. One of them is Martin. He goes the hand pass over the top. First goal coming up for Jezza. And Cameron gets the opener. Well, Steele's miss has turned into 12-point turnaround. One straight 6, the Cats. St Kilda yet to score. 7 played opening term.
Well, good transition there by the Cats. Brought it down one side of the ground, managed to get it across to the other side of the ground where they had the half-back flankers and wingers streaming forward. Feel sorry for young Taru. He was on Jeremy Cameron, but you've got to come at the guy handballing ball goes over the top, your player gets a goal. Certainly not your fault by any stretch of imagination, but it was unfortunately probably the best kick in the Saints team, Nasiah Wangani-Malera, who actually mucked up the short pass into Hill into the middle of the ground, and it was turnover city from there. So you don't want your best users turning the ball over in the middle of the ground against Cats.
It's going to be a learning afternoon for Alex Taru, one way or the other. An early lesson in defence for the Saints. Bounce down in the middle.
I actually love the fact they're playing him on, Cameron. That's a really good thing. If I'm a Saints supporter, that's what I want to see today.
Yep, absolutely.
Have a go again after the ball. The bounce from Jordan Fry went to right, steals onto it in the middle, pulled off it by Holmes. It spilled away to Marshall. In fact, it was Boxall who was grabbed, and now Geelong's away with it. Max Holmes striding and kicking inside the forward 50. Rising was Cameron, couldn't take the mark. Taru grabs it. He's caught by Blitzarves. And it'll be a ball up, left forward pocket, deep inside forward 50 for the Cats. They've got the opening goal of the game through 8.5 minutes. And another chance here. Blitzarves in ruck. Controls it down. Martin took on the tacklers and he was caught with the footy. And it's going to be a Saints free kick deep in defence to Steele, who offloads to Hill to start the chain for St Kilda.
Fake to go broadcast side and instead went the opposite and turned it over, unfortunately, by Foots. Coming back in, Dempsey tracking back, kicks long inside, attacking 50. Going up and taking the mark is Martin. No one rose with him in the end, and it was bordering on uncontested, even though there are a few Saints around. He'll line up from about 25 metres out, slightly left of centre.
Now, it's a disappointing defensive effort from the Saints there. There were enough numbers around there to cause some havoc.
Goes quickly, Martin, with the snap. Wasn't overly convincing, but sneaks it in. And the Cats have two. 2 straight 12. St Kilda yet to score, approaching the 10-minute mark in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, coming out of defence of Brad Hill, he sold the candy beautifully and opened up any real option that he wanted to have. He had Marcus Windhager here on the open side on the wing. It would have been a great option had he taken that, but decided to play safe and go back try and get back all through the numbers. The turnover was costly as we work out with that ball back inside forward 50, but just a spirit of expansion, I'll call it, for Brad Hill would have been great for the Saints on that occasion.
Lauren Borden downstairs.
So Mitch Owens has got that run with roll with Tom Stewart at the moment. Stewart was just waiting for someone to replace him as he was coming to the bench, and Owens stayed on the ground just watching him until he was officially onto the bench to take his break as well. So looks like he'll be following him on and off the ground for the match.
Smart move by the Cats by playing Blitzarves forward as well. The Saints have really only got 2 tall defenders, and so Wilkie and Caminetti, and by having the 3 talls down there, including Cameron, just stretches that Saints defence.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. 2 early goals to the Cats, and they get it forward here again. Stanley has an almighty fresh area. It's poked inside forward 50 by Close. Taru's up to meet it, attacking the footy with some real vigour. He's quickly dragged down to the turf. We'll have a ball up within 40 of the Cats' goal at that river end. 11 minutes played, opening term. Marshall and Neal tangle in ruck. No clear hit out. Free kick plucked out by the umpire. Going to Ryan Burns, one of the couple of inclusions for the Saints alongside Darcy Wilson, the second-year youngster out of Wangaratta. Now Taru back to Caminetti as the Saints work it across their defensive 50. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays calling the footy for you. Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts, and Lauren Borden on the boundary.
Long kick out of defence. Miller left it. For those in front, was it out of bounds? It might have been juggled out. Have a bit of a conference here.
I wouldn't trust his boundary umpire for certain reasons, but that was...
Look, it was in.
So, yes. Yeah, and the boundary umpire was on the spot, has been overruled. So, interesting. Wilson with the mark. Long kick up here on the wing. DeConing had it spoiled away from him, and it's out of bounds. Just forward of centre wing here for the Saints.
Freshly shaved head on that boundary umpire too. I know that. I'm a man of experience when it comes to this stuff. That is freshly shaved.
Absolutely.
There's more scalp in this box than hair, to be told.
Yeah, there is.
I feel like I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, you are. 2 straight 12 of the Cats. St Kilda yet to score. 12 minutes played opening term from the ruck contest. Marshall has a wrestle. Couldn't quite get it free. It spurt through a few legs. Bailey Smith tried to rip it out of there, and he's mobbed immediately by McRae and Marshall. He's going nowhere. We'll have a ball up just forward of centre wing for St Kilda.
So the Saints have got 2 extra at this stoppage. So the Cats happy to sit behind this.
What can they do with it? Steele gets the clearance win for St Kilda. Curls a high kick inside forward 50. O'Sullivan sat under it the whole time and takes the mark. He swings it across to the Hickey stand side, to the Marrable Street side of the ground for Dempsey in game 50 in his 4th season for Geelong.
Got a nice little cheer there too.
Connor down the line to Wood, who belts it out of play. Having played his 150th last week out for a throw-in. As we said before the start of the game, the Saints have lost their last 12 here. Round 10, 1999 was the last time that they won. Talked about a couple of the players that day, Maisie. But our man here, Nathan Burke, 22 disposals, 4 tackles, 3 inside 50, 4 marks, 2 clearances. Not Burkey's greatest day, but he did manage to swindle the 3 votes out of the umpire.
3 votes?
3 votes.
Oh, they're good judges, those people in Green.
Hand pass forward from all. It probably would have been in white back then too. Manor out wide. He's able to get it off to Smith, who kept on running. Great tackle by Steele. Smith good enough just to get the hand pass away. On halfway up to Humphreys, now to Manor, who kept running. Shrugged the tackle, got his hand pass further forward to Bailey Smith, who kept on running. Low darting ball inside 50, isn't marked. Dangerfield front and centre. Lovely rove off to Blitz halves, who spilt it. Had to go back to Dangerfield, who could snap from 40. Does it have the carry? Not quite. Stengel went the mark, dropped it at the last moment. Followed up at ground level. Lovely scoop up to Manor, who snapped and bends it home. With a lovely off-break that Nathan Lyon would be proud of. 3 straight 18. St Kilda yet to score. 15 minutes played, opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, they look dangerous when they go inside 50, don't they? They're either going to mark the ball if it's up high, or when it hits the ground, they're small players. They're just looking really, really lively. And element of luck there, but beautiful bounce to the right through the middle of the goal. So 3 goals to none. It's getting ominous early.
Just a preparedness to keep pushing forward too. From half back, it was a quick handball forward, tried to release Bailey Smith. Wasn't perfect, but he kept going. He had a couple of the players get involved. Manor was involved. So I just love the way they had the attention and the willingness to just keep pushing forward and put the pressure on the Saints' defence, because they didn't have time to get their numbers back. When the ball's in flow from the back half of the Cats, the Saints won't have their numbers back. So if they can keep it moving, they'll find those opportunities.
So Geelong with the early break. Max Heath now into the ruck against Shannon Neal. Game number 2 for the big Saint. Wangadane Miller dribbles it around inside the centre square. Got it off to Windhager. He kicks up toward half forward for St Kilda. De Koning tracks the ball back. Almost lost it. Ran into Wood. Scooped up by Jack Henry. Does brilliantly well. Twisting and turning to evade the tackles. He got it to Dempsey, who slipped over. Got the handball away to Henry, who worked that one well to Myers, who's been in excellent form for Geelong. A piercing kick to the logo on the outer side. Neal now to Martin, who started well for Geelong. The overlap run comes from Guthrie, and now from Bailey Smith, who shrugs the tackle at the edge of the square. Pokes it to the edge of the 50 now for Manor. Manor darts the kick. Dangerfield, he came out, he had too much speed on. He met it with concrete hands, spilt the footy. Now Neal inside forward 50 for Geelong. Boxall gets caught. Dangerfield's over the top of him, and we'll have a ball up 35 metres out from the Geelong goal in that left forward pocket.
He was going a million miles an hour, Dangerfield, wasn't he?
Yeah. Geez, that passage of play and the change of angles up and down. They were looking slick there, the Cats, from the ball up. Both ruckman wrestle, and again we'll have another stoppage.
Just reckon, again, it's from half back. I reckon they're able to catch the Saints on the hop a bit defensively if they can just keep moving the ball from half back.
Yeah, with the tap only as far as Windhager, off to Hill, who's taken over the boundary line and out for a ball in. Left forward pocket for Geelong, 3 straight 18. The Saints yet to score, 16 played opening term, as Joel mentioned. Now South Australian audience will be off to Adelaide and the Gold Coast at the conclusion of this one, which will be a magnificent Sunday twilight fixture.
It'll be a fascinating game. Collingwood and Freo starting in about an hour and a half from now. You can get that on the ABC Listen app if you so choose. Ball tossed up inside forward 50 for the Cats. Heath controlled it down. Stengel had it, lost it. Almost a play as he was dispossessed in the tackle. Nana then was jumped upon by Taru with the glistening gold soles on his boots. And it'll be tossed back out 20 metres out from goal. Inside forward 50 for Geelong. They lead it 3 straight to no score for the Saints. Atkins rips it away from the stoppage. Wangadeen Miller has it stripped from him, and then he took Manor to ground when he didn't have it. Then Liam Henry might have got legged by Martin and did. How Wangadeen Miller got away with that, you'll never know. The Saints get the free kick inside the defensive 50. Burns comes out toward the interchange. Owens almost curled it in toward his body in that right arm, but couldn't keep it in. We will have a boundary throw in, and we'll go downstairs to Lauren Borden.
Cooper Sharman's having all sorts of issues with his left boot at the moment. So he came off. The doctor tried to tape over the boot. They realised that wasn't going to work. So someone's gone down into the rooms to get him a whole new set of boots. So he was just having an issue with his left one. He's now got new boots on.
Thanks, Lauren. Toss back into play. Atkins did really well to spin out of any danger. Gave it to Bailey Smith, and then it should be out of bounds on the full. It was on the full. So
it's Berkey's boundary umpire too.
Yeah, so Martin has juggled that, but he's juggled it from behind the boundary line. So it's either a mark or it's out of bounds on the full, and we're going to have a boundary throw-in. There you go.
Hair got in his eyes.
Right half forward for the Cats. Toss back into play. Blitzarves won it down. Martin through the stoppage, became the tackler on Wanganeen Miller. Burns. Hand pass is good to Windhager. Just found a little bit of space, then kicks long to Koning in prime position here. Takes an easy mark to Koning. Short and inboard to Henry. He goes to true centre half back where Holmes has it. Spins quickly, goes to the outer side. Ball hangs in the air for a while. Humphreys did well to shrug his opponent. Hand pass over the top to Myers, who's forward of centre wing. Kick over the top, just stays in as well. And Dempsey has it, 2 kicks from goal.
Dempsey's going to load up and go long to the pocket. Burns going back with the flight. It just got past him. Fell to Martin. Martin to Manor, who marks in the goal square. And a certain goal coming up for Geelong.
Saints got to figure out that trailing your player by 5 metres is not going to cut it in this game. Geelong, at home, too skillful. They're going to hit those targets. Every single time you look at a Saints player, they're trailing 5 metres behind their opponent, especially on the switch.
17 goals already this season for Sean Manor. And as we tick into time on in this opening term, the Cats are rocketing away early from the Saints. 4 early goals for Geelong. St Kilda yet to score. The lead is 24 points. 20 minutes gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford.
Well, inside 50 is 10-4. Just getting too many opportunities inside their forward half. As Burke is talking about, if you're going to sit off, they're going to cut you to pieces on this ground. The way they use the straight line of the boundary along the wings is very, very clever. Just potent with their ball use. Keep it very simple. March the ball up and then make the St Kilda defenders defend on the way through. It's very impressive. 70 intercepts to 1 in favour of the Cats as well. At this stage, dominating disposal, plus 20, the 69 to 49. So it really is all one-way traffic at this stage for the Cats.
Worrying signs for the Saints. 20 minutes played opening term. The Cats by 4 straight goals. Back in the middle. Bounced by the umpire. Smith running through, overran it. Heath got it out to Wanganeen Miller, who went the quick hand pass to Windhager. High kick inside 50. How do the Flyers go here? It's all Geelong, although Henry, lovely rove at the front, and then he was dispossessed. Umpire wave play on. Wilson over it now. Still becomes the tackler on Hens it away from him. Short kick is turned over. Off to Owens, and now Wilkie flares it out wide. So Wanganeen Miller, who could hit the accelerator here, go inside 50, kicks, but it's shaping away from goal. And it is 1 behind. I think that may have carried the behind line. I dare say we're going to go upstairs anyway, just to double check. As is usually the way, even though every Geelong player is happy enough for this to be called a behind.
So,
review underway.
To Berkey's point about sitting off, 26 uncontested marks for the Cats to 13.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball crosses the back of the behind line. Decision on scoreboard.
So Wanganeen Miller with the first score for the Saints. It has taken 21 minutes in the opening term. It is a behind and they trail by 23.
Stewart to bring it back in. His best game of the season last week. 13 intercept possessions for the Cats star defender. Short to Jack Henry, off to Bailey Smith, who drives the kick wide. Close gets to the front of the pack, couldn't take it with him. Toe poke forward by Dempsey, found Guthrie on the end of it. And then De Koning was tackled by Cooper Sharman, who seems to have resolved the issues with his footwear. He's back out there on the ground at the moment for the Saints. 4 straight to 1 behind, 22 and a half gone opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us, whether you're listening on the ABC Listen app or ABC Radio Adelaide, South Australia and Broken Hill. Wanganeen Miller, he gets it forward. The South Australian doing good things this season. Handball forward looking for Windhager, taken away by De Koning of the Cats, and now Holmes is on the end of a kick. He comes wide to Close. Close on the Hickey stand side between the wing and the forward 50. Loops the handball wide to Dempsey at the edge of the arc. Pokes the kick low and infield and finds Dangerfield, who will get a pretty soft 50, but it was needless nonetheless. Caminiti just applying a little bit of pressure into the back of Dangerfield as he kneeled down to mark. And the Cats skipper will be waltzed to the goal line to put through their 5th.
You can call it soft, but you can also call it stupid. There was just no need to push him.
And it's proved costly as Danger pumps it through to the river end. And Geelong have got 5 on the board. 5 straight 30 to St Kilda, 1 behind. 23 and a half gone first term. And when you're trying to scrap your way to some kind of competitiveness, that is exactly what you don't need to be doing.
Burke's 100% spot on. Just no need for it. It probably was, grand scheme of things. In the old days, it's a soft free kick, but just don't do it. It's pretty straightforward sort of stuff. I'll tell you what is happening for the Saints at the moment. They haven't got a handle on Ollie Dempsey. He's on the outer wing here at Canini Park. He's had 7 disposals, leads all comers, certainly for the Cats at the moment. And his score involvement's already 4 score involvements already in the first quarter. That is a big number.
So I think the Saints have made the change and put, I think it's Windhager, who's on our wing. He's gone across to the far wing. But what I love about Ollie Dempsey is he's works the full length of the ground. You always find him down the goal square kicking goals, but several times today he's been in the back line. Like he took that mark on the back post before. He gets from one end of the ground extremely well.
Stanley leaps high. Smith was spun around in the contact and no prior opportunity means Marshall's able to wrap him up. We'll have another stoppage in the middle. St Kilda trailed by 29. Marshall gets his hands on that one first. Nice hand pass by Steele to Sinclair. Kicks high inside attacking 50. Heath sets himself. Was the spoiler. Didn't have to run interference. Off to Wilson, whose kick is smothered. Now Henry coming out of defensive 50. Intelligent kick, just put it in front there of Close, who worked the 1-2 with Dempsey to Holmes. Back to Dempsey and back to Holmes. Holmes off the outside of the boot in a standing start. It's the wrong side of the footy and kicks it into row F. So we'll have a turnover ball. St Kilda's free kick out of wing. 5 straight 30 the Cats, 1 behind the Saints. 25 played opening term.
Saints just can't keep the ball inside their forward 50. Goes in and bangs straight back out again.
McRae doesn't quite get that one to the arc. Heath comes up and takes a good strong mark in front of De Koning. The big Moose latches onto it 53 metres out at right half forward. He's got that right sock high up around his knee, drops it on the right boot, sends it to full forward. Sharman flies in front. O'Sullivan the fist from the back for the Cats, 10 metres out from the St Kilda goal. Charging through is Stewart, ran into a wall and caught holding the ball. He looked like he was trying to break the line for the Wallabies. He ran into that St Kilda line of Steele and Wanganeen Miller, and it will be the latter to take the free kick and try and get the Saints on the board.
Says a bit about their mindset, though, the Cats, doesn't it? They think they can do anything today, run through walls of players. That was a very bold manoeuvre from Tom Stewart, but he took it on. Pays the price now. They'll get a score against them, probably a goal, hopefully for the Saints fans.
Well held last week. Wanganeen Miller coming up for disposal number 10 for his first effective kick of the afternoon. It's very effective. It's straight through the middle. And the Saints get their first goal of the ball game. 1-1-7. Geelong 5 straight 30. 26 minutes gone in the opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your experts.
Well, Harf badly need a goal towards the end of the quarter, but it's one of the first times they've been able to get the ball to a contest 15 metres out from goal. Everything else has been around about 30, 40, 45 plus out from goal and just bounces back so quickly against this Cats, because what the Saints are doing, bringing extra numbers up around the contest, but leaving their forwards outnumbered. Geelong are virtually saying, you know what, you can have that.
Yep.
You can have numbers around the footy. We'll back our guys to get our fair share of it, but we'll launch everything off the half-back line with our extra numbers. And that was the first and only time the Saints have been able to sort of break down that slingshot from the Cats.
Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your experts this afternoon. Andrew Mays, Joel Peterson calling it for you. Another chance here for Geelong as Holmes is on the end of a Bailey Smith handball. Kick inside 50, gets out the back, ball pitched on its point. Just sat up a little bit too much for Blitzarzu's taken down, and we'll have a stoppage almost on the goal line for the Cats. 23 points the margin in favour of Geelong. Pye clears a path. Throws it up. Neal. Won it behind, and then a hand pass that could have almost been deliberate. I think there was a whistle before all of that.
Yeah,
it's paid by the guy, the umpire rather, at centre-half back.
Not just some bloke that's what
Sorry.
Well, you did bring a whistle with you, mate.
Well, yeah.
I did see that.
So that's an amazing free kick. That was so far off the ball, I couldn't even find the umpire.
In your esteemed Auskick umpiring opinion, was it there?
I'm not sure. Couldn't
No
see.
one knows what for. Jack Higgins and Ocean Mullen having a bit of a stoush. That's what it was. Higgins ended up with the ball at the free kick. So probably something to do with those two just getting it on. Mullen's not copying anything, and Higgins has been a pest.
Just the one kick so far for Jack Higgins, so a little bit frustrated after going goalless last week. Hill had the footy for the Saints, kicked wide to Sinclair at left half forward, kept it in inventively, goes inside the 50, and Cooper Sharman rises and rips it out of the air. Terrific mark. 45 metres out, he's 5 in from the boundary in the left forward pocket.
He's a good rock solid mark, as you call Joel. He's a good player, Cooper Sharman. Does some really good stuff defensively as well, which I don't think too many people outside of Secure to pay any attention to, but he's got a high work rate, extremely athletic. Not sure how he's going to go from here. This isn't an easy pocket to kick at any part.
Very good kick from here. Man from New South Wales via the SANFL. How's his kick? It's just fading out toward that right post and across the face through for a minor score. 22 points the margin. Cats ahead, 29 and a half gone. Opening term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport. A massive day ahead. Collingwood and Freo and our South Australian audience getting Adelaide and Gold Coast to close out round 19.
Top 8 shaping afternoon it promises to be, including this one as well. How far can Geelong get ahead? Hill might have been in danger. Umpire waved play on. Holmes in there. He's dispossessed. Now squeezing it out was Boxall. Went inside 50, but Cameron's back there for the Cats. A long, risky ball across the face. Saru came out beautifully, met it, and then went again at ground level. Did well enough to halve the contest. Third effort was good too. He lost his footing, and now the Cats are out though. Oh, lovely interception by Sinclair. They were out, Geelong, and now they're coming back the other way, the Saints. Hand pass off to Steele, kicks back inside, attacking 50, but it's too high. And a repeat dose from Tom Stewart, who takes the mark and fires them right up the middle.
Rifles the kick to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan goes longer than that. Holmes brought it down to Blitzarves and now to Manor. A creative handball forward to Stengel. Back into the team. Walters around. Finds space and the finish. He's wasted no time acquainting himself with the forward 50 down here at Kardinia Park. Tyson Stengel. 2 for him on return. And the Cats get that lead back out to 28. 6 straight, 36. St Kilda 1-2-8. 31 played in the opening term on ABC Sport.
Well, there's a difference between the two teams. Saints turn the ball over. They get the ball in the middle of the ground, kick it to Jack Steele, and he just plays on and gets himself into trouble. Ends up just looping a ball, high ball, to inside his forward 50, and Tom Stewart's going to mark that every day of the week. And then the Cats go whoosh straight down the middle of the ground, players running in support, running 2-3 plays ahead of the game, and an easy shot for goal at the other end. Hard work by the Saints, no composure, to great composure by the Cats.
It was 4v2. Steele looks up, it's 4v2 because the Cats have held their shape and the Saints have pushed up to try and get the ball back. And they pull the trigger too early because they've got no reinforcements. Got to be aware of the situation for the skipper.
Now St Kilda away. Boxall is able to dodge one. His hand pass missed the target though, going inside attacking 50 O'Sullivan. He missed it as well. Boxall took forever to get rid of it. It just came off his boot, and the kick inside 50 is good. And floating in to take it is Owens, who can fire at goal to answer that Stengel major.
Well, that's their best look. when they got centre bounce and they got 6-6-6 and they got even numbers ahead of the ball. That's their best look to try and find some space inside their forward 50. The way they're playing at the moment, they'll have to reassess that at quarter time, Berkey, won't they? They're allowing Geelong that extra defender, they're pushing the extra number up for the Saints, just holding back.
To get the margin back to 22 points. Important kick. Owens squeezes it in. So a nice goal for Mitch Owens to almost close out this opening term. 6 straight 36 Geelong, 2-2-14 St Kilda. And that was much needed on the stroke of quarter time.
Yeah, as you said, centre clearance, 6-6-6, players staying home, and it just holds the Geelong defenders accountable. But when you're up the ground, they can just virtually do whatever they want, and they're too smarter players. They read the ball coming in as well as anyone in the competition. But the last 2 entries, to Cooper Sharman and to that one there, they weren't bombed entries. You've got to actually lower your eyes and make them accountable, because we know the Cats defenders will sag off every chance that they get. So when they do, you've got to hurt them and direct that ball low to somebody who's free. 15-5
clearances in favour of St Kilda in this opening term. 31-17 uncontested marks the way of Geelong, who are 25-2 when they get 100 or more over the past 3 seasons. That's not trending in the right direction. What is the stoppage work of the Cats. Holmes was brilliant out of the middle on the receive. He kicked inside forward 50.
Well, that's where you see stats sometimes lying. 15-5 is your say for clearances, Joel. But that's what Berkey was talking about before. The Cats, as the Saints sticking extra numbers up, the Cats hold their shape. Saints win it, kick to the Cats. There's actually no point winning the clearance if you can't find a way forward with any level of efficiency. So they, despite the numbers and despite the success they're having in that category, they've got to reset their shape.
Ball chucked back in, slapped out toward the boundary line. Atkins, a crunching tackle on Sinclair. 2 tough customers. And another ball up inside forward 50 for Geelong.
34 played opening term. Saints would hate to concede one late here. Blitzarves reaches over the top. Boxall, hand pass to Burns. His kick was smothered, still in play. Steele, he missed the hand pass on the way out. Not a bad thing as it trickles out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. The Saints have advanced about 15 metres around the boundary. Still inside attacking 50 for Geelong. One last chance before the quarter-time siren. Ball to be tossed back into play. Marshall there, plenty of players around this stoppage. St Kilda will be doing all they can to hold it up. Marshall palms it down, straight to Dempsey, whose kick was smothered luckily. Wanganeen Miller kicks it up and kicks it out of bounds on the full. And there ends the opening term of footy here, where Geelong kicks 6 goals. A powerful display. Now they're going the barrel from about 85 out.
Mark Pitternet not out there.
No, correct. He didn't nail it either, Big O'Sullivan, but still kicked it at about 45, 50 metres. So 6 straight 36, the Cats at quarter time, leading St Kilda 2-2-14. Goal kickers, Manor with 2 for Geelong. Singles to Cameron, Stengel, Martin and Dangerfield. Meanwhile, Wanganeen, Miller and Owens, the goal kickers there for the Saints. So a pretty comfortable margin at the quarter time break. And Ross Lyon will be gathering his troops for a word and a reset, which is what we will do here. You are listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Everyone's an expert at something. It's what makes us all special. If only that were true.
Join Tom Gleeson for brand new Hard Quiz.
No expert subject turned away.
Back Wednesday, July 23 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Blitzarves out the back, did the roving, then kicks long to an open forward line. There's a couple of Cats. One of them is Martin. He goes the hand pass over the top. First goal coming up for Jesmond. And Cameron gets the opener. Well, Steele's miss has turned into 12-point turnaround. 1 straight 6, the Cats. Dempsey tracking back, kicks long inside, attacking 50. Going up and taking the mark is Martin. No one rose with him in the end, and it was bordering on uncontested, even though there were a few Saints around. Goes quickly, Martin, with the snap. Wasn't overly convincing, but sneaks it in. Followed up at ground level. Lovely scoop up to Manor, who snapped and bends it home. With a lovely off break that Nathan Lyon would be proud of.
With the flight. It just got past him, fell to Martin to Manor, who marks in the goal square. The Cats are rocketing away early from the Saints.
You can call it soft, but you can also call it stupid. There was just no need to push him.
And it's proved costly as Danger pumps it through to the river end. And the St Kilda goal, charging through is Stewart, ran into a wall and caught holding the ball.
Says a bit about their mindset though, the Cats, doesn't it? They think they can do anything today.
Well held last week. Wangadeen Miller coming up for disposal, number 10, for his first effective kick of the afternoon. It's very effective. It's straight through the middle. A creative handball forward to Stengel, back into the team, waltzes around, finds space, and the finish.
The margin back to 22 points. Important kick. Owens squeezes it in.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
Quarter time here at Kidinia Park. Geelong 6 straight 36, leading St Kilda 2-2-14. It was a dominant first quarter display. Andrew Mays and Joel Peterson calling the action for you. Lauren Borden on the boundary. And your two experts this afternoon, Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford.
Berkey, it was a big start for the Cats. Certainly did set the game alight with the way they're able to move the ball against this St Kilda defensive unit through the middle of the ground. They won the ball in the back half with their extra number, and it was one-way traffic for a long time. St Kilda getting saving a little bit of face late in the quarter with the scoreboard, but it really was a domination. And we've talked about the reasons why in that first quarter. Clearances 16-6 in favour of the Saints. I think plus 10 against the Cats. See, that's pretty good. Problem is, intercept marks are 8-1 in favour of Geelong. Uncontested marks 31-17 in favour of Geelong. Inside 50s 14-12 on the back of it. So you touched on it beautifully in the first term. The Cats are very happy for the Saints to win the clearance. With extra numbers up around there, takes away their forward presence if they do that. They're very happy for them to win the clearance because they'll put enough pressure on the Saints around the source that it's going to have to be a quick kick, a hurried kick inside their forward half of the ground or forward of the contest where the Cats will be waiting. And from there, as we've seen, with their inside runners plus their outside runners and their half forwards pushing up and then getting back to goal, it's almost impossible for the Saints to defend the transition.
And that's the way it's playing out because they're doing it easy on the way through. Both teams have had pretty much the same kicks, 57 and 56. But the Cats' efficiency on their kicking is 77% compared to 54%.
Yep.
So it just goes to show that when they're rushing through, the Saints players are going, you know what, I'll just try and zone up here, I'll get numbers behind, but they're cutting their way through with their feet and getting that ball inside 50 far too easily. When it's in there, every single time it looks like they're either going to mark it or it's when it hits the ground, it's the Cats players who are looking dangerous there as well. And they're stretching the Saints back line, which is not very tall at all. So putting Blitzarves down there, as well as Neil, as well as Cameron. Saints really only have two tall defenders, so they've got to try and make do and shift things around. Up the other end, Saints have only got really Cooper Sharman, who's not an oval at all. Max Heath just playing his second game. He's more of your bear in the square, just kick it up high and I'll compete. So he's not really going to be super dangerous on the lead or anything like that. So the Cats have got things that they can exploit the Saints with all over the ground, and at the moment they're using those things to great effect. And
their runners are killing them too individually. Dempsey's had 10 4-score involvements. He's going beautifully on the wing, leads the Cats for possession. Holmes had 9, Smith's had 8. So they're runners, they're key runners, are causing havoc through the middle of the ground. Wangadeen Miller has done a great job so far for the Saints, 13 disposals and a goal in that first term. Just hasn't got enough support. Windhager's had 9 as well, but he's been sent to shut down Ollie Dempsey on the outer wing. In fact, Brad Hill's going to him at the start of this second term, so we'll see how that unfolds through the quarter. But just not enough help through the middle of the ground at the moment. The Cats doing as they pleased against this St Kilda defensive unit.
Well, it's taken till round 19 for Wangadeen Miller to actually get a Guernsey in the midfield at the start of the game.
He's on track for 52.
Yeah, not chuck him in there in the last quarter and hopefully make a difference. So hopefully that's something that Saints supporters will see for the rest of this year.
Work to do for the Saints. 22 points in arrears, and it's not started well as Dangerfield wins the clearance to Holmes, who kicks off the outside of his boot inside 50, but Taru takes a nice mark in front of Jeremy Cameron. The young defender goes short with his kick to find Wilkie. Wilkie flares it out wide, still inside defensive 50. Caminiti gets on his bike, then kicks long up beyond the wing. It's a 2-on-1 here, and Owens might have been held in that contest. He was. He wins the free kick. Ball returned to him. And Owens, his options dry up, so he goes as long as he can, and Stewart takes an uncontested mark inside defensive 50.
Textbook Tom Stewart comes defensively now to Jack Henry. Now to Guthrie as the Cats build the footy back up. So effective doing it in this manner for such a long time, albeit with different personnel these days. Max Holmes has got it inside the defensive 50, standing in the sunshine. He surveys what's ahead. Likes to go as long and as hard as he can. Kicks to the AFL logo in front of the interchange. Marshall standing tall. His uncontested mark among the group in the end. He comes defensively to the back edge of the centre square for Sinclair. Bites off an aggressive kick up the middle of Steele. Reels it in. Hands it off to Wilkie. Left foot kick in the 50. Heath sets himself and marks. He was just too big to move, the big moose. He pulled it in 25 out directly in front.
It's a great nickname. I love a moose. Don't have enough mooses in the competition. Good movement there from the Saints. Quick ball through the middle of the ground, back on the 45 degrees, open the corridor up, and that was enough to get the Geelong defenders on their heels a bit off balance, and gave this opportunity for Big Maxi. Come on, the Moose.
Kicked one last week on debut, did Max Hall. Can he get them going in the second term? No, he misses to the left-hand side. 2-3, plays 6 straight. Margin is 21 points the way of the Cats. 2 minutes gone. Second term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Quick kick in here from Holmes. It's a bit of an awkward scrubber up towards Dangerfield, who wrestled for the footy on the floor and then tried to break away. Umpire said he made enough of an attempt and will ball it up at left half forward here for St Kilda.
Jack Steele and Dangerfield fighting for the ball on the ground. It's always going to get a fierce contest.
Still sorry for the ball. Now Manor with the clearance from that stoppage. He kicks around his body, high kick towards the wing. And big fists over the top and hanging in the air. There was Hasty. Kills the contest, and we'll have another ball in, this time on centre wing. 6 straight Geelong, 2-3-15 St Kilda. Margin 21 points. Interesting to see Ross Lyon pretty animated at the quarter-time break as well.
Saints keeping 6 ahead of the footy here. There you go. There's an adjustment.
I've been pleased with the way that first term started, Ross. Cats with first 5 goals of the game. Steele dives on top of it at the stoppage once more. It's dragged in beneath him.
So that's good coaching, because it wasn't working. That wasn't going to last a day, that method. They had allowed the Cats to just hold numbers behind the ball. So try something different, see how you end up.
Centre of the Hickey stand wing, tossed up. Marshall's kick smothered. It rolls out of play and out for a throw-in, still on that outer side wing. One thing we haven't touched on too much yet, Berkey, is Cal Wilkie's 150th today. Of course, all coming consecutively since debut. He's been a magnificent player for the St Kilda Footy Club since coming across from SA.
Oh, he's absolutely sensational. Everything he does, and fighting out of his weight class pretty much every single week at the moment, and doing a great job.
Holmes runs inboard off the back of this boundary throw-in. Flares it across the centre square. Blitz halves with one grab and the second. Gets the free kick.
Bronx cheers from the supporters at Geelong.
The umpiring's been pretty solid this afternoon so far.
Against Cal Wilkie too, just as we talk about how good he was.
Long kick by Blitz halves. Dempsey thought about flying, left it to Dangerfield in front. He couldn't take the mark. Dempsey becomes the receiver. Dummies, and then kicks an absolute shank out of bounds on the full, while having a flying shot at goal from about 45, 5 metres in from the boundary, but we'll have a St Kilda free kick next to the left behind post.
It's a good call, Maisie. He did think about the big launch then, didn't he, Dempsey? Probably should have in the end.
Yeah.
And one real bolt from the blue for the Cats, Ollie Dempsey. One kick outside defensive 50 for the Saints. Free kick in the marking contest. It's going to the hoops. Umpire's just pointed the wrong way. Big Rowan Marshall, who played game 150 last week. A big fella out of Portland. He's got it at left half back. 6 straight plays, 2-3. 21-point lead to the Cats. 5 gone second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Long kick from Marshall up toward Heath. Spills the Saints way at ground level. Owens to Wanganeen Miller. Kicks to the pocket. Woods there. Tied up against the boundary line. Dribbles it around the corner. Oh, that is brilliant! Mason Wood! No one thought he could. And Mason knew he had it in him. On the left boot, tied up against the boundary line in the left forward pocket. He got exactly the curve and the roll that he needed and kicks a quite brilliant goal. It's the Saints' third, 3-3-21 to the Cats, 6 straight, 36. 6 minutes gone, second term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Daniel Harvard, Nathan Burke, talk us through that.
Well, he's running straight towards the boundary line. He had one step to gather, and it wasn't an accidental. We saw one for the Cats play early that bounced through the goals at a right angle. This one was absolutely deliberate, the way that he put it on his boot, the way that he dribbled the ball. Players practice this sort of stuff all the time at training, so it's not a complete and utter fluke. It was just complete and utter skill.
What a finish. And they're right back in this, the Saints. Scoring shots now even, and they're only 15 points behind. Geelong with the centre clearance. Holmes flares it out wide by hand, off to the running Humphreys, who kicks deep inside, attacking 50. Neal looking for separation. Good fist away from him. Cameron roves at ground level, turns blindside. Oh, anything you can do, Mason, I can do better. What a finish from Jezza. Wrong side for a left footer, and he absolutely threaded it for his second. 7 straight 42 the Cats, 3-3-21 the Saints. What an answer.
Showtime.
That's a bit of class, isn't it? It was a bit lacklustre at the start of the game, but the second quarter certainly had a bit of showtime about it, which is great for the fans here at Kilda Park to watch. That was exquisite. Centre clearance was handy. Humphreys involved again, keeps his width on the wing, does a good job in that role. It just turns boundary side on the left foot. Was given that option by his defender, Saints defender.
Yeah, Liam Stockett.
Stockett was too, yeah.
Watch a little bit of tape of Jeremy Cameron. He is a left footer.
Yeah, can roll, but you're thinking he's going to roll boundary, so he's not going to kick it from there. Jezza says, just hold my beer, I can do this.
Coleman medal leader, that was brilliant. Let's go downstairs to Lauren Borden.
Patrick Dangerfield just went quickly down to the rooms. He's come back up, and he's sitting on the bench ready to go on. He did have some painkillers a little earlier in the quarter, so just keeping an eye on him at the moment.
I mean, for some of those fierce contests for the footy with Jack Steele that he's been involved in the early going, playing majority of the time in the middle of the ground this afternoon so far. He's Paddy Deep from the restart. The Saints take it away through McRae. A high kick inside the forward 50. Owens with a terrific mark. That was curling high, and he lunged forward to pull it in low off the turf. He takes it just inside the 50 on a slight angle.
That was tough. When you're running full pelt, the ball's going all over the place, and the way that it's spinning to lunge forward and take it in the hands, it's a good effort. Can we see 3 amazing goals in a row?
Would be a wonderful way to start this second term. Wood kicked it off. Cameron followed suit. Owens with the great mark. Is the finish up to the standard? Yes, it is indeed. Mitch Owens bombs one from downtown. And both teams are rolling now. Saints with 2 in the quarter. And that gap is back to 15 points. 4-3-27 to Geelong. 7 straight 42. It's more Harlem Globetrotters than Saints and Cats here in this second term. We're 9 minutes through it. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, maybe they turned up the sexy factor at quarter time on the coaches board. But centre-bouts again. So that's the opportunity for the Saints. But I do like the way they are holding numbers ahead of the footy at the moment. It's just going to make these Cats more defensive and more accountable when the ball comes inside their forward half. And if they want to release a 7th and make an extra number for the Cats as opposed to an extra number for the Saints pushing up to the ball, I think that creates a different dynamic as well for the Geelong players forward of the ball. So I like the fact that Ross Lyon has now challenged Chris Scott to find another way to beat the Saints.
2 of the sharpest minds in the commentary box this afternoon. A couple of smart coaches as well. Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, your experts. Now on the outer wing, he's pushed off, but he's able to thread the ball nicely, and that's front on contact, surely. It is a very late call there, and the crowd's very appreciative in the red cheeky stand. So Dempsey has it. He has been busy this afternoon in his milestone game, 50th this afternoon. He kicks to the top of 50. Blitzhalves flew for it. Lightning hands there from Myers out wide. Zamana kicks inboard. And then Martin over the top. An elongated stretch, and he was able to rake it in.
Carlton fans just vomited in their mouth a little bit when that sort of stuff happens.
Well, he's played a little bit all over, Jack Martin. He was started in defence by the Cats and sort of slowly progressed his way up. Now playing forward, more predominantly forward this afternoon.
Such a capable player. We haven't seen the best of him injuries through his journey, but he's such a talent, this boy.
So Jack Martin, in he comes. 20 out directly in front, makes no mistake for his second. This has been an entertaining start to the second term. 8 straight 48 the Cats. 4-3-27 the Saints. 11 minutes played in the second quarter.
Well, the first quarter went for 35 minutes. This one's probably going to go a tad longer the way we're going at the moment. We could be here all night, turn the lights on. But that was just a lob to 15 metres out. Saints were just zoning, just thinking that, 50-50, might come to me, might come to you. And it was a great effort by Jack Martin there to realise that he was the man. There was no talls around, so he had to fly. Leon Stocker gave him a little bit too much distance, and skillful players like that, they're going to take that mark and kick the goal every day of the week.
Hilariously predictable that he's just going to bob up inside forward 50 for Geelong and turn himself and maybe, just show glimpses of the player we always hoped he could become.
Yeah.
It's just, of course, it does at Geelong. Neil out of the middle to Myers, a low kick inside the forward 50, and that was a little bit overzealous from Martin. Burns put his head over it. Martin ran into him, so free kick to Ryan Burns for the Saints inside the defensive 50. Outlets to Steele, hits him in stride. Now to McRae, centre of the Hickey stand wing. St Kilda build the footy up down that outer side. Sharman marks, rolls on, left foot kick to the pocket, sliding in, sprawling to mark. Is it paid down low? Yes, it is to Liam Henry. Jack Henry was not happy with the call from the umpire, but Henry of the Saints has been paid the mark, and I think if we were playing a different sport, you'd be going upstairs for that one.
Keen to see the replay on that one. It did look in real time like though it did bobble, he had full control of it and took it off the ground.
We know what this man's capable of. A couple of years at the Saints now. He hasn't had much of a run at it through injury. He's going to have to kick from just inside the forward 50. Liam Henry to keep the good times rolling. It's across the face and it's bashed through by young Colin O'Sullivan for a minus score. 48 plays 28. Cats ahead. 13 gone. Second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sports.
2 goals apiece in this second term. A little bit of a dodgy kick in and then a high fend off. So St Kilda will receive the free kick here. Higgins copped one right in his nose and the mouth, and was almost a little bit dazed as he got to his feet, but he'll line up from 20 out directly in front.
It was a bad kick from Tom Stewart. Set it up. Not often do you say that for fullback. For Tom going for the short option, that was just a big high fend off. That was a bit crass.
So he goes with the left foot around the body and kicks the goal. So St Kilda now 3 goals in this second term. They've answered a few critics after a little bit of a slow start. 8 straight 48 Geelong, 5-4-34 St Kilda. Margin back to 14 points. Hasn't been this close since the opening 10 minutes of the game.
Just a second kick for Jack Higgins. He needs to get himself into the game. He started off the year like a house on fire. He's on record pace for 40, 50 goals. Slowed down dramatically since then.
So to that point, Berkey, 2 or more in 9 of his first 10 games. He's done it once in the 7 games since.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense, and a bit reflective of the Saints too, isn't it? When he's up and about, they find a way more often than not, but if he's not scoring, not getting opportunities, makes it tough for the Saints.
Goalless last week, not this week. 34 on the season. His career best is 36 the last 2. It was Heath in the ruck who got it to Wangadeen Miller for the Saints. Drives them inside forward 50. A bit of holding on, and Jack Higgins was displeased with the call. Stewart got brought down by Wood off the footy, but not before the free kick had been paid. So the Cats will come away with it. Now through Humphreys, down the line. Blitzarves had Caminiti reaching in and knocking the ball loose in front of the interchange. Where do we toss back in? Blitzarves game 287, so now only 5 behind Matthew Boyd for the second most off the rookie list. Of course, Luke Bruce holds that record, having passed 300 for the Hawks, but what a career Mark Blitzarves has carved out for himself. Ball tossed back in on the wing. Heath and Neil go at it in ruck. Cats lead by 14 points. The Saints are coming with a charge here in this second term. Bouncing ball up toward half forward. Dempsey, Dangerfield arches the back. Handball releases. Myers bounced awkwardly for him on the edge of the 50. Myers around with the handball now to Humphreys. Screws the kick around the body to a very dangerous position. And Blitzarves pulls it in. 30 metres out directly in front. Great kick from Humphreys. And the concentration from Blitzarves was terrific. Not from the Saints defence, because Blitz handed it off to Jezza, who curls it around from his third. You cannot be napping inside that forward 50 for Geelong at any time. And Cameron's got 3. The Cats out by 20 again. 16 gone, second term. 54 place, 34. Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport.
Love the handball from Dangerfield here at left half forward. Came through the numbers to pick the ball up and just saw with his peripheral vision the runner coming wide. It was Humphreys. Sorry, it was Stengelov initially. Got it out to Humphreys and the ball back in. But it was Dangerfield's vision that opened the ground up and opened that scenario up for the Cats. Enabled them to get that ball inside forward 50. Terrific mark from Blitzarves. But I love the work from Dangerfield further up the ground. He hasn't had a huge day with numbers, and his 7th disposal for the day. But a big impact on that moment.
Can't miss this afternoon. The Cats 9 straight now. Heath in the ruck. Has it ripped away from him by Atkins, who hand passes over the top, only as far as Wanganeen Miller. His hand pass too hot for Sinclair, and now Manor turns tackler. Neil knocked away from him off the boot of Mullen. Dempsey clean at ground level. Hand pass back to Stewart, who flares it out wide, and Holmes was almost away. Just dropped the mark at the last moment, trying to reel it in with the one hand. And he's wrapped up. We'll have a ball up right half forward here for the Cats.
Well, here's a problem. 15 disposals for Holmes. Dempsey's had 13. Stewart's had 9. Wanganeen Miller is leading all comers with 16, but Holmes is a problem through the middle.
He's whacks it clear. Holmes has it again now, though. Hand pass to Manor. Hemmed up against the boundary line. Atkins wants out of bounds on the full. He was pleading with the boundary umpire, and the field umpire will have a conference of 3.
3 different interpretations, I reckon we've got here. I reckon they all called it differently.
And it's going to be a ball in. Well, the field umpire was actually standing outside the field of play and would have been 30 centimetres away from that footy as it went over. And he decided to call his mates in either side to finally decide we're going to have a ball in, which is what he said about a minute and a half ago.
There are 18 minutes gone in this second term. We actually haven't elapsed 10 minutes of game time yet on the official clock, so it's going to be a long quarter. Holmes kicks inside forward. 50, Dangerfield! Sliding out. Saturday night fever style from full forward. Or like Sunday afternoon glory for Paddy. He's got it 20 out directly in front.
Well, impossible to defend for Cal Wilkie. It was a bit of a floating mung sort of rotator from Maxie Holmes. Just ended up in the lap of Dangerfield, who again was coming at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I tell you what, 10 straight in modern day footy, where most teams kick 3-7, is quite something.
Not 10 straight yet.
Oh, don't do that to him.
How does Dangerfield go with the finish?
He
he struck the right-hand post.
Why would you say that? What sort of bloke are you, mate?
I've seen Patrick kick before.
Straight into it.
There's the blemish. There's the blemish from the captain. 9-1 to 5-4. 21-point lead to the Cats.
He'll be coming for you.
Taru takes the mark. I prefer him from 55 out. Sinclair rifles one up the middle. That's a lovely kick. 50-metre piercing ball, and it finds Wanganeen Miller, who again threads the needle beautifully. Off to Winhager, now to McRae. Lovely movement this. A money ball inside 50, not quite there. Henry able to paddle it to advantage. He received the hand pass and then found space where there wasn't any. Almost ran out of it. And then kicks back inside. Winhager knocked away from him. Hill there. This is at the top of 50. McRae with a dainty little kick. It's balled away in favour of a couple of Cats, and then Henry intercepts. So another chance here for the for the Saints. Wanganeen Miller with the outside of the boot. Didn't want to use his left, and the ball falls short. And the Cats are away through Smith.
So Smith, 35 metres out for an offensive goal. Faced a little bit of pressure from Higgins, but he whacks the kick all the way up the Hickey stand wing to Stengel, who's got it right on halfway. Dempsey lopes past. Stengel cuts the kick on the diagonal, finds Guthrie. Guthrie a handball away. O'Connor to Dangerfield, who pulls this one in as well. Charging out from the square. And again, nothing the Saints defence could do. And this time Paddy will have a kick from right on the 50.
He'll kick this.
And he's every chance.
Don't go sucking up to him now, mate.
That was Smith's first touch this quarter, but it was a great kick out. The Saints had got 2 or 3 numbers, but he just cleared them all completely with the big 60-metre one out the back, and that's why the Cats having a shot at the other end.
So Dangerfield, having missed from point-blank range, from out wide.
Just
Missed
everything.
a lot.
Oh, just call it. You're standing underneath.
What, we're not going to be determining anything by going upstairs.
No.
Make a decision.
You were standing under the post.
So we are determining whether the ball has gone over the right-hand behind post, for which we do not have any technology
Not going to help.
make that decision.
My theory still stands.
Let's look at a camera from the other end of the ground that is not adjusted to the right angle. The ball's gone 20 metres over the bloody thing. What are you going to tell from this?
Swanee, it's half. Can you just give GM a...
Review complete. Looking at these angles, there is insufficient evidence.
Oh, really? You reckon?
They haven't made a decision. What's your decision?
Swanee, call them
The
back.
decision is that we still don't know.
Decision is a danger. Look, have another shot, mate.
Umpire's call. They haven't got a call.
They haven't got a call. Oh, now he's out in the full.
That's why we went up in the first place.
So 22 minutes gone, second term, 21-point lead to the
Been
Cats.
proven. This quarter will go for 42 minutes.
I was going to say the quarter's long enough as it is.
Be daylight savings before we leave.
Wanganeen Miller with the kick across the face of goal. It's good to Wilkie. And then to Caminiti. Wilkie says, go quickly, because we've got a couple of numbers on the wing. Owens from behind, elected not to leap and left it for Wilson, who takes the chest mark. Wilson just in front of the interchange benches. Risky kick inboard. It's a high ball as well. Dempsey was up. Didn't come down with it though. McRae shrugs a tackle and then he's tackled from behind. And they're away now, the Cats, although Dempsey made it hard for Dangerfield, who did well enough to get the ball out to Myers, who slapped it forward, almost had a fresh airy. Burns comes away with it for the Saints. Stabbing kick is nice to find McRae. And then out wider still, a chance to go inside 50.
Owens, a set-up kick from 60 metres out. Henry over the back, couldn't take the mark for the Saints. Spilled to Higgins, who's onto it in a flash. Jack Higgins curls it around for his second. Both have come in this term. And the Saints go end-to-end and reduce the gap to 15 points. 6-4-40. Geelong 9-1-55, 23 and a half gone second term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke.
Well, the Saints have come off a half-back line a couple of times now and kept the ball pretty much in the corridor. When they go wide around this ground, it's too long. Cats can play that way because they know how to do it. But the Saints, once they come along around the boundary line, because it's such a long ground, you can't bring the ball in too quickly. You've got to have an extra kick around the boundary line and then take the ball inside 50. But when you're coming through the middle, you don't have those issues. And it's good to see them doing it. The last two entries inside forward 50 have pretty much come through the corridor.
5 goals to 3 since deep in the first term here for the Saints. So they have answered and responded to Ross Lyon at quarter time. Pretty happy as a Saints supporter with how things are tracking at the moment. After the start, Stanley over the top, slaps it forward, McRae there. He's tackled off the footy, ball spurts out the side towards Smith, who's on the wing, steps inboard, hand pass to Stanley, who just kicks high inside attacking 50 here for the Cats. Dangerfield nudged underneath it, Holmes was front and centre, couldn't gather the ball. Dangerfield goes fishing, somehow got it out to Blitzarves. He was taken off it, spilt the footy, and so did Burns. I'm not sure he got a hand pass away, it's holding the ball.
Must have got something on it.
He got something on it. He didn't throw it. He didn't cleanly handball it, but he got a top spin on it.
Yeah.
Close with the free kick.
He's a bit stiff there, Burns. He did get a fist on that. Just a little knuckle.
The umpire was behind him, couldn't actually see, so he guessed.
Why is he making the call?
Guessed.
There's 1,000 of them out there. Why are we making calls from the back when we can't see? Doesn't make any sense to me, Nathan.
And umpires can't overrule when the other guys get it wrong. Unfortunately, they can't go, no, let's ball that up, mate. You muck that one up.
So close. From about 35 out directly in front. It wasn't overly convincing either.
Close enough.
One behind. 9-2-56 Geelong, 6-4-40. They kicked 9 straight. Since then, they've missed 2 from 20 out directly in front and 1 out of bounds on the full.
I blame Dangerfield for all of this.
And Dangerfield blames mate. Sinclair brings it back in to Burns for the Saints. That's a lovely kick down the line. Boxall, the young West Australian, the Saints traded up for to take in the draft last year. The Claremont Colts premiership player shoots it infield to Windhager. He kicks a wobbly old thing across the ground. It gets to Mason Wood on the bounce. He kicks to half forward. Not his best. Through the hands of Holmes. Spills to Jack Henry. At half back for Geelong. Can they work this out? Bailey Smith. He ran into a trio of tricoloured jumpers. And it'll be tossed up on the front edge of the centre square. Cats 9-2. Saints 6-4. 26 and a half gone second term.
Andrew Mays and Joel Peterson calling it for you this afternoon. Quick kick inside 50s, repelled by Henry, who took it on the bounce, but the blind kick ends up with Hasty, who takes the mark. Right on halfway, a couple of metres inside the boundary. He's going to put this to the top of 50, inside the pocket. Where are the flyers? One of them was Heath, but out the back, Wilson ropes it off to Henry, who snaps. Didn't quite get the Nathan Lyon off break that Manor got in the opening term, and it goes across the face for one behind. 9-2 plays 6 goals, 5. Margin back to 15 points in favour of the Cats.
I reckon that's the win, Berkey, for the Saints in the coach's box at the moment. Ground balls inside their forward 50. They didn't have that in the first quarter because they were constantly being outmarked. But now with more numbers there, their smalls are getting to work, and they're having a real impact in this game.
Holmes steams out of half-back, kicks up toward Dempsey on the wing. Turnover. Sinclair to Wilkie, to Boxall, back to Wilkie. Back to Sinclair, who retreats now to Caminiti. So they've gone all the way back to the top of the defensive 50 now, St Kilda. To the local lad in Hasty out of the Geelong West Giants. He comes to Stocker, who's right on where the shade and the sun are boarded inside the defensive arc. To Sinclair, who whips the kick out wide. A creative kick that gains some territory and keeps possession for the Saints. Wilson saw Wood cruising past, elected not to use him, kicks a low kick to the edge of the 50, bounces off the chest of De Koning for the Cats in defence. Smith, fast hands to Humphreys. He bangs it on the boot quickly, bounces its way out toward Myers, had it, lost it. Handball now to Atkins. Terrific work from Wilson, who lost the initial contest against Myers and then dived across the kick of Atkins to force it out for a throw-in. Just in front of halfway. Cats in attack. They lead by 15 points. 28 gone in the second term, and we've still got 3.5 minutes to go at least.
Collingwood and Fremantle to come later this afternoon, followed by Adelaide and Gold Coast. After the conclusion of this one, we'll take you off to the Adelaide Oval. Ball tossed back into play. Marshall grabs it on the follow-up, then just got his boot to ball. Had Steele riding shotgun, hand pass back into congestion. Smith will try and break a tackle. Umpire says yes. So a free kick it'll be for holding the ball. Steele with the free. Can go inside 50. Had a few options short. He goes longer instead. Ball travels a fair way, and then Henry at ground level knocks it to the advantage of Higgins, who just took a little bit off the kick. It was smart in the end and found Wood. I reckon it went about 11 metres, that one, and Mason Wood will line up for his second of the quarter.
I like their smalls getting busy. It's made a difference.
So Mason Wood is 40 from goal. He's going to go around the corner, 45-degree angle to the right, and he bends it back to perfection. 2 in this second term for Mason Wood. They are right back in this, the Saints. 9-2-56. The Cats. 7-5-47 St Kilda. 29 played second term. As Joel mentioned, still a fair bit left on the clock. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport this afternoon.
Well, the Saints are on track to kick 100 points, which is virtually unheard of. We're on track to have a 100-minute quarter. The way we're going at the moment, we're up to 30 minutes, and I'm tipping there's still a long way to go. But as you called it, Huff, the smalls. Henry, I think the Saints supporters as a whole be saying we just need a bit more from you. You're just not giving us everything that you got. But he's been lively. He's spoilt the ball. He's just kept it alive. A couple of handballs. That's what they want from him. Doesn't need to go out and kick 6. Just be involved in the game a bit more.
Henry, Hall, Higgins. You've got to have an H to survive in the forward line for the Saints.
Best second term of the season for the Saints.
Is that right?
The Triple H approach. Up front, our wrestling style.
Yes.
For St Kilda. Myers toe pokes out of the centre square for the Saints. Hasty comes back the other way with some real attack on the ball. Got it to Steele, to Sinclair. It's a wobbly kick through the middle, uncharacteristic. Found its way to Hall, who has found his way into the game. He got tripped up by Brad Close, lost the footy. Had stayed with him and stayed with the Saints. Now Hill inside forward 50. The H's are everywhere.
Well, they are.
Sharman. And Cooper Sharman marks right on the edge of the arc. 9-point game, 31 minutes gone, second term. Thinks it's a bit beyond him, pokes it to the pocket. Wangadeen Miller collects on the bounce, backtracks, 48 out. Now beyond the forward 50 he goes to Burns. Kick and a half from home for the Saints. Not the required distance to Hill. Hill lays it up to the top of the goal square. Who's there for St Kilda? They fly at the face of the goal. Wood stayed down, goes to ground, jumped upon. Umpire says mine. Top of the goal square for St Kilda. They trail by 9. 31 and a half gone second term.
Just getting the ball offline a bit too, the Saints, when they get the ball from half-back in particular through the middle of the ground.
He found himself in all sorts of space. He almost could have had a shot himself. He was looking for the dish off. Unfortunately, comes unstuck. Smith with the clearing kick. It's a bit of a tumbler. Stengel almost took the mark. Worked hard at ground level to feed the hand pass back, and now taken in a strong tackle. Dangerfield on hands and knees. Did he dive on it? No, in the back.
They dived on him.
So we will have a free kick for Dangerfield, who kicks across half-back.
Dempsey's already jumped the fence. He's got the back.
O'Sullivan.
Oops.
Oh, he almost turned it over. Just made it to Dempsey. It was a good kick in the end, and lovely delivery inside attacking 50. On a plate for Jeremy Cameron, who can line up from 45 out, 45-degree angle to the right.
So Danger gets a free kick just inside the left half-back flank line on the square. As soon as the whistle blew, the Cats players knew, and Dempsey and Cameron just took off. Dempsey to the open side of the ground on the wing, and Cameron took off to pretty much where he is at the moment and just reset his position a couple of times. So they just read the play really quickly. The Saints defenders did not go with them. And all of a sudden, an open line kick changes the game.
So 9 straight for the Cats. Then 2 behinds and an out of bounds on the full. Then you give it to Jezza, and he kicks it straight over the goal umpire's hat for his 4th this afternoon. 10-2-62 Geelong. 7-5-47 St Kilda. 33 played second term on ABC Sport.
Probably the quietest 4 goals that I can imagine. Jezza hasn't done a great deal, but he's bobbed up with 4. Hasn't had a lot of play around the ground, but he's certainly finishing off extremely well. That was, as you called it, half. The Geelong players were just switched on. They anticipated that Danger was going to get the free kick, and then just took off before the umpire even finished rattling his pee. And away they went, and the Saints were just that half a second slower, and that's all you need against this Cats outfit. We're up to 34 minutes.
Yep.
I'm tipping we're going to get a 40.
At some point we will. I'm sure we will. Back in the middle. Stanley control.
Oh, no.
Now to Dangerfield. That is a relatively short quarter.
The first one went for 35.
18 minutes elapsed before we got halfway through the quarter. And it ends at 34 minutes, and it ends with a Geelong goal to Cameron and a 15-point lead to the home team. 10-2-62 to 7-5-47. Geelong, one of 3 sides playing this afternoon, hoping a win pushes them 2 games clear inside the 8. If they, Fremantle and the Gold Coast all win, the Western Bulldogs will be 2 games outside the 8 at the conclusion of round 19. 10-2-62 to 7-5-47 is the halftime score here at Kilda Park. Jeremy Cameron, the Coleman medal leader, has got 4 to have 57 on the season and sit 10 clear now of Mitch Georgiades with 47. 2 goals to Manor, 2 goals to Martin, a goal to Stengel and a goal to Dangerfield for the Cats. For St Kilda, all doubles, which is unusual. 2 to Higgins, 2 to Owens, and 2 to Mason Wood, the first of which was very, very good indeed from that left forward pocket.
So a 15-point advantage for the Cats at halftime, as Joel mentioned. Big afternoon of AFL footy on ABC Sport from the MCG at 3:15, Collingwood and Fremantle, and then from 4:40 at the Adelaide Oval, Adelaide and Gold Coast will be taking you there after the conclusion of this one. Your experts this afternoon, Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke. Give us your thoughts on that second term and the first half in general.
Well, that second term, it's probably the most unusual quarter I've witnessed all year. It was just a goal fest from one end of the ground to the other. It's normally on a long ground like this, you'll find the ball that sort of gets camped in the middle, and a lot of it is played between the arcs, but it wasn't. It was either in one forward 50 or the other forward 50. Both teams transitioned the ball extremely well, and probably the difference for the Saints was that they were able to keep the ball inside their forward 50 when the ball hit the ground. And they gave themselves repeat efforts to actually get those goals, whereas in that first quarter, it was just zooming straight out the other end. The Cats still look extremely dangerous when it goes inside 50. Their forward line is well on top at the moment. 10 goals too could quite easily have been 12 goals straight, considering where they're having shots from. So the Saints, yes, they changed the way that they were playing and kept the ball inside their forward line a little bit. They have to find a way at some stage to restrict that scoring for Geelong, because they're on track for 20. There's no way the Saints are going to end up with 20 goals.
Yeah. I just think it's a fascinating game in terms of system and strategy. I mean, just total contrast from the Saints in that second term from the first, where they were completely mauled. They won the clearances 16-6 in the first quarter, but were outscored by 22 points. They lose the clearances 5-11 in that second quarter, but win that quarter by 7 points. They go from allowing Geelong with 8 intercept marks in the first quarter to 2 in the second quarter. The Cats had 31 uncontested marks in the first quarter. They had 15 in the second. St Kilda had 17 in the first. They've had 28 in the second. So they just flipped the script. They've made the Cats defend behind the ball, which I think you have to do when you play Geelong, rather than allow them to have that free. They used the ball really cleverly through the middle of the ground, got the ball offline, came back through the corridor a lot. And then because they had representation forward of the footy, when they got it in there, as you rightly say, Berkey, they were able to put some pressure on the Cats, keep it in there, get busy, and find a way to hit the scoreboard with their smalls, which they did in that second term. I think it was a really good move by Ross and the coach's box to even up the numbers forward of the ball, but just change the way they move the ball as well, and just get the ball back into the middle of the ground as often as they can, and just try and get this Geelong defence, which is so stable, so settled, just off balance a little bit, which they did a couple of times, and they got a few goals on the back of that. So the game was totally flipped. The Cats win clearances and still lose the quarter, so sometimes, again, we're talking about numbers and how they can lie. That classic example in the first quarter for the Saints and the second quarter for the Cats there. They do have a problem through the middle of the ground, though. Holmes and Dempsey are causing all sorts of grief. Holmes has had 18, Dempsey's had 17 on that outer wing, and he's a really pivotal part of this. And Wangana Miller has had 20 for the Saints, playing in the middle of the ground with the goal. Sinclair's had 16 from halfback pushing up. But they need more support through the middle of the ground, the Saints. But the Cats have got way too much firepower there to be allowed to run right like they did in the first half with Dempsey and Smith and Holmes. So that's the challenge for Ross, to get a hold of them, to get that next phase for the Saints to get back into this game in terms of being a winning prospect. Because as you rightly say, 20 goals from here for them is going to be a hard thing to do, 13 required.
So out of those stats, we saw Ross Lyon quite animated at quarter time. Out of those stats, which turnaround would he be most pleased?
I reckon uncontested marks. I reckon that'd be the one, because if Cats control the ball, they control games, and they win games. They're able to march the ball up any way they like into their forward 50, and with, as Berkey said before, with such potency in that area of the ground, you just cannot defend them, you cannot win a game. So take away Geelong's ability to control possession easily through uncontested marks, and on the flip side, do it yourself, which they did with 28-15 in that second term. I reckon that's a key area of this game so far for the Saints to be back into it.
Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport this afternoon at a sunny Cardinia Park, 10-62, Geelong leading St Kilda at halftime at 7-5-47, who fought back nicely in that second quarter. We'll get a bit more of the scores from around the country and a bit of a taste of what's going on this afternoon after the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Tasmanian Labor leader Dean Winter says he won't compromise on his party's ideals but will work with other parties to form government. The The Tasmanian Premier, Jeremy Rockcliffe, says he'll be seeking to have his government recommissioned as he claimed victory for the Liberal Party. The Liberals are on track to hold or potentially improve on 14 seats they held before the election after gaining a swing of about 2.5%. Labor leader Dean Winter has not conceded defeat and says he'll try to form government with the support of the crossbench, with another election now out of the question.
I will play my part in making this parliament work in the best interests of our state. It seems likely that the three major parties in the state will end up with more or less the same number of seats as they did in the last parliament. Another election is not an option, which means we need to figure this out.
Voters in Japan are casting ballots for seats in the upper house of the country's legislature. They're voting for candidates contesting half of the 248 upper house seats, with early results expected this evening. Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba says his ruling coalition could face possible defeat in an election that could worsen the country's political instability. A poor performance would not immediately trigger a change of government. Hamas health officials in Gaza say another 36 people have been killed in shootings at aid distribution sites. Witnesses and hospital officials say Israeli soldiers opened fire with machine guns mounted on tanks and drones at two sites near Rafah and Khan Yunis. Gaza's civil defense agency says they were among 86 people killed by Israeli gunfire and airstrikes in the past 48 hours. It comes as Israel and Hamas take part in ceasefire talks in Qatar, where international mediators say there have been no breakthroughs. More than 100 people have been arrested at protests across Britain for supporting a pro-Palestinian group banned by the government earlier this month. The BBC's Nick Johnson has more.
Dozens of protesters were huddled in torrential rain, some of them brandishing handwritten placards, all of which read, "I oppose genocide. I support Palestine action." Police officers moved swiftly to arrest those holding the signs, many of whom appeared to be over the age of 60. One woman claimed to be in her 80s and was walking with a stick. Lawyers representing Palestine Action are back in court on Monday with the aim of overturning the Home Office's decision to ban the group.
There's hope a new agreement between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwandan-backed M23 rebels will end 3 decades of conflict. Kinshasa and the rebel group have agreed in principle to a peace deal brokered by Qatar and are due to sign it next month. Last month, the Rwandan and Congolese foreign ministers signed a peace deal during a meeting with US President Donald Trump at the White House. The US Special Envoy for Africa, Masad Bouzlos, says he's hopeful a deal will see an end to the violence.
At least 6 million lives were lost and millions of displaced and refugees are suffering. So they have both committed to resolving this, and we've seen nothing but good faith from them.
6 people, including 3 children, have been rescued from the Mount Field National Park in Tasmania's south after being caught in heavy snow overnight. Sophie Jaggers reports.
The Tasmanian family raised the alarm with police yesterday afternoon and were told to seek shelter in a nearby hut. They had set off on a day walk, but changing weather conditions prevented them from accessing the walking track. Police say extreme weather conditions prevented a helicopter from reaching the family, so a search and rescue team was sent in on foot, contending with strong winds and nearly a foot of snow. The crew reached the family shortly before midnight, finding them safe but cold and wet. They were evacuated via helicopter this morning, once conditions cleared.
A US tech company says its chief executive has quit after he was apparently caught on a big screen at a Coldplay concert embracing a female co-worker. In a video clip that went viral, a man and a woman were shown on a big screen at the arena in Massachusetts hugging before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. The pair were identified in US media as Andy Byron, a married chief executive of Astronomer, and Kristen Cabot, the firm's chief people officer. Astronomer says in a statement, Andy Byron has tendered his resignation and the board of directors has accepted. An Australian boxer, Tim Tszyu, has lost his world title fight against American Sebastian Fundora in Las Vegas. He was knocked down in the opening round of his super welterweight rematch. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Woods there, tied up against the boundary line, dribbles it around the corner. Oh, that is brilliant!
Cameron Roves at ground level, turns blindside. Oh, anything you can do, Mason, I can do better! What a finish from Jezza!
Myers around with the handball now to Humphries, screws the kick around the body to a very dangerous position, and Blitzards pulls it in. Not from the Saints' defence, because Blitz handed it off to Jezza, who curls it around from his third. Holmes kicks inside forward, 50, Dangerfield! Sliding out, Saturday night fever style from full forward.
I tell you what, 10 straight in modern day footy, where most teams kick 3-7, is quite something.
Not 10 straight yet.
Oh, don't do that to him.
How does Dangerfield go with the finish? He struck the right-hand post.
Why would you say that?
So Dangerfield, having missed from point-blank range, from out wide,
just
missed
everything.
a lot.
Oh, just call it. You're standing underneath.
Well, we're not going to be determining anything by going upstairs. Let's look at a camera from the other end of the ground that is not adjusted to the right angle. The ball's gone 20 metres over the bloody thing. What are you going to tell from this?
Looking at these angles, there is insufficient evidence.
Oh, really? You reckon? Owens, the set-up kick from 60 metres out. Henry over the back, couldn't take the mark for the Saints. Spilled to Higgins, who's onto it in a flash. Jack Higgins curls it around for his second. Both have come in this term.
To Mason Wood. It's 40 from goal. He's going to go around the corner, 45-degree angle to the right, and he bends it back to perfection. Two behinds and an out of bounds on the full. Then you give it to Jezza, and he kicks it straight over the goal umpire's hat.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Welcome back to Cardinia Park. It is half-time between Geelong and St Kilda, where the Cats lead 10-62. The Saints 7-5-47. Andrew Mays and Joel Peterson calling the action for you this afternoon. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your experts. Lauren Borden downstairs on the boundary. And what is a beautiful afternoon here. Perfect conditions for footy. About 15 degrees. Sun covering half the ground at the moment. And it is a stunning afternoon for those watching in the stands. Just a couple of other updates from around the grounds. We've got, of course, coverage covered for you here on the ABC, with the match at the MCG to begin in just under an hour. So Collingwood taking on Fremantle. That'll be a season-defining game for both of those clubs. More so Fremantle with a big test at the MCG. And then the Adelaide Oval is our next destination. That's where you'll head if you're listening to us in South Australia. Adelaide hosting Gold Coast. Speaking of big games, that will be a season shaper as well, especially the top half of the ladder, which will be shaped a little bit this afternoon with the three results. So it is a big day in the context of the 2025 season. Just running through the goal kickers for the Cats. 4 to Cameron to half-time. 2 each to Manor and Martin. Singles to Stengel and Dangerfield. Meanwhile, for the Saints, 2 to Higgins, 2 to Owens, 2 to Wood, and 1 to Wanganeen Miller, who has played significant midfield minutes this afternoon. Just a couple of the other updates from around the grounds as well. There is, of course, NRL going on at the moment. So West and the Titans locked at 12 apiece, and then the Knights and the Warriors to play each other a little later on this afternoon. A couple of results yesterday, including Manly defeating the Storm 18 points to 16. And last night it was the first test between the British and Irish Lions and the Wallabies, with the British and Irish Lions winning that one 27 points to 19. But a few encouraging signs for the Wallabies as they head to Melbourne for the second test coming up next Saturday night. Coverage, of course, available on the ABC Listen app. If you haven't got it, download it. It is your one-stop shop for everything sport. Oz Kickers have been given the heave-ho, so they're finishing up here as players will be returning to the arena fairly shortly. 10-2-62, Geelong leading St Kilda 7-5-47. I'm going to get you, Half, to put on your Geelong hat. And what's Chris Scott's message to his players at half-time?
I would think if Chris Scott is addressing the players right about now as they come out, then the message would be focused on winning the contest. I reckon that's not so much clearance, but around the ground scrimmage stuff. I reckon the Saints have had the upper hand in that second quarter, so they were able to get possession and then control the flow with that uncontested mark kicking game, which they brought into effect in that second term. So I'd be putting it on, despite the fact that their mids have got a lot of numbers, it's not necessarily coming through scrimmage and owning the ball out of there and getting it ball into space from there. It's more through transition and getting back to help out and then being a part of the chain going forward. So my focus would be on contest from our mids, put a bit of heat on the mids to win the contest around the ground and then try and get the ball forward with a level of efficiency like they did in that first term. But I'd be really worried if I was Chris Scott about what's coming. If the game stays as it is in the second term, I think I'd be worried if I was Chris Scott with what's happening at the moment.
We talk about how important scoring off turnover is in games of footy. So first quarter, Geelong kicked 4 goals to 2 off turnover.
Yep.
That second quarter, St Kilda 3 goals to 1. So not only did they manage to score from turnover, but if you can stop Geelong scoring from turnover in that forward half game where the Cats are in the top 2 or 3 in the competition, that goes a long way.
Yeah, well, that's their mode, isn't it? They're not a score from stoppage team, the Cats. They're a score from transition, score from turnover team. So if you can limit their influence in that phase of the game, then you're going to have a chance yourself, especially if you can counter it with scoring. It's all very well to stop them. If you don't score as much as well, then you don't advance the game. But if you can start to hit the scoreboard and maintain possession, as we talked about through that second term, just get the Geelong defenders off balance a bit. All of a sudden the game can change pretty quickly. And I reckon that's what the Giants did to them down here, what was it, about 6 weeks ago, maybe a bit longer than that. They won the possession, they got the ball back through the middle, they owned possession through the middle third of the ground. So between the arcs, they own possession. And then then the Cats have to find a way to get the ball back with an extra number sitting back behind the ball. Sometimes you can't do that, and you've got to draw that defender out, and then you find your free players. I love the second quarter of the Saints. I think it was a brilliant reset from them on the fly to be able to put a fair bit of heat on this Cats lineup. Not just the defenders, but the middle of the ground as well, the midfielders defensively, who are very, very keen and quick to run towards goal, but sometimes it's a bit more of a challenge to go back towards the opposition's goal. I think that's a good point, Joel, that transition scoring is a real key for the Cats. If you can manage that, you're half a chance.
Berkey, I want you to put your Saints hat on. Message from Ross Lyon, and what do you want to see in this second half from St Kilda?
I'm taking the game on. I'm coming back through the corridor. Every opportunity that I get. The Cats love you going wide on this ground because it's so long. Saints were better when their small players got into the play. If you take the ball too wide, kick the ball into one half of the forward 50, if a small player is on the other side of that forward 50, can't get over, can't put pressure on. Come through the middle, get the ball into the corridor. Well, it doesn't matter where you are as a small forward, you can probably get to that. And so the small players have got to get to where that ball is inside 50. And the best way to do that, the shortest way home on a long ground, is not to switch the ball to the middle and then way back out the other side. And that's what they were doing in the first quarter. They got to the middle, but then said, let's maintain possession, and went wide again. This time, once they get into that middle, it has to be a straight-ahead kick. A short one, just straight ahead, keeping that ball inside 50. It's going to allow those small players to have an effect when it goes inside 50.
The voice of a man who dominated down here, collecting the 3 votes in round 10, 1999, Nathan Burke.
Last win for St Kilda.
So that was the last win. Just on that game, I do want to bring this up at some point, Berkey. How on earth did you swindle the 3 votes on this particular day? So you had the 22 touches. You played a little bit on Darren Milburn from the footage that I watched, and he was pretty quiet that day.
He played on me, mate.
He'd been in good form. So Spider Everett has 21 and kicks 2 goals too.
Yep.
Barry Hall kicks 4. Stewie Lowe has 24, 13 marks, kicks 2 goals too. Andrew Thompson has 30 and kicks 2 goals 1. And yet your 22 disposals was adjudged the clear best on ground.
Can I answer this for you, Berkey? This is such a modern broadcaster's way of looking at the game. It's all numbers. We don't count the stats. We have the stats that count. That's what Berkey and I played with. We had the stats that count.
It's where you get them, when you get them.
It's how deliberately you kick it out of bounds in the last quarter.
Absolutely. You run past the ump and say, good decision there, mate. Having a good game today, big fella.
It's the last time you said that, I reckon.
It was a great game. So that game, Geelong kicked the first goal of the last quarter, 25 points down the Saints, and they roll back home to win it.
By how much?
By 10 points, and we're talking full 1990, so it's 115 to 105, the final score.
What a game. That was the day to play. They were the days to play.
They were the days.
So who knows?
Who knows what I think I had 18 of me 20 in the last quarter. That might have been it. Umpires don't have great memories.
10-2-62, Geelong 7-5-47 the Saints. Joel Peterson to take you through the start of the third term.
So what have the Saints got in the second half here? They had a much better second term than their first. It's the Cats who get the opening clearance. Atkins curls a high kick to the edge of the 50. Cameron's up to meet it. He's tackled by Steele. The pack falls on top of him. And we will have a ball up.
Hey, Loz, is Bailey Smith starting on the bench? Is Loz down there?
Yeah, I've got your half. He is here. So he started on the bench at the start of the second term as well, and the third, I think, or he's also been part of the first rotation if he has started on the field and come off straight away.
All right.
Lauren Borden with us on the boundary for ABC Sport this afternoon. Manners kicked to the top of the 50. Caminiti got a fair old shove from Neil. And it'll be a free kick going to the Saint inside the defensive 50. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays calling it for you. Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts, as well as Loz on the boundary. Of course, later today, Adelaide and the Gold Coast for our South Australian audience. Massive game at the Adelaide Oval.
Wilkie one way then the other, goes back to his defensive goal square, and Caminiti has to stretch down to take that one. Just above the turf. He comes out wide to Burns. And kicks looking for Windhager. It was held in the air a little. It made it a bit too easy for Guthrie to come over the top and take that nice mark, and he'll kick back inside attacking 50 for the Cats. Couple of entries early on. Up high was Cameron, and Wilkie came through and then dropped her. That is holding the ball. He almost went in slow motion there because I feel like he had a poke in the eye or something. He couldn't really see, and unfortunately for him, he ran into a Geelong tackle, and we'll have a Stengel shot at goal.
Had the two black eyes during the week as well, Cal Wilkie.
I was going to say last week he got a couple of pokes in the eye.
It's like Tom Stewart's free kick in the first quarter game where he tried to barge through the front.
Yeah.
A bit of bother back there too, is Wilkie.
So Stengel with the free kick. He's 35 out, angled to the left. Normally backing him in from here, Tyson Stengel.
He lost him.
40 out. Kicks from 35 and gets it. Never in doubt. 11-2-68 the Cats. Good start for the third term. 7-5-47 the Saints. Tyson Stengel now has 2 for the afternoon.
Well, that's sometimes footy can be easy. You just get the ball to a contest, you bring the ball to ground, you put pressure on the opposition, you get numbers there, you lay a tackle, and you have a shot for goal. We think about and we train quite often with beautiful passing segments where, one player leads and the other one comes across and fills a hole, comes and takes a chest. Probably get 1 out of 20 goals crafted exactly that way. Most of them, call them dirty goals, ugly goals, whatever you want. Get the ball inside 50, dangerous spot, have a great contest, and you either get a ground ball, win a free kick, and you get goals. That's how most goals are created these days.
Ball back in the middle. Cats with the first goal, this second half. Look at Wanganeen Miller comes streaming out of the centre, kick inside forward 50, and Cooper Sharman elevates and extends again.
That's the one in 20, Berkey.
That's it. That's the one. That's the training drill.
That was beautiful.
Wanganeen Miller came curling out of the centre circles, kicks an absolute laser beam, and Sharman's gone up a mile to pull that in.
He just hovers, Sharman. He's a hoverer.
This kick will go about 5 metres off the ground the whole way.
So he'll kick it from right at the top of the 50. Cooper Sharman, after the brilliant mark, it's a brilliant finish. First goal of the afternoon for Cooper Sharman, and the Saints get the instant reply to the Cats opener here in the second half. 15 points the margin again. 11-2-68 Geelong, 8-5-53 St Kilda, 4 gone, third term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport with Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke.
I'll correct you there quickly, Harf. That isn't something that they train. I don't think they train a full forward coming out of the square, leading straight at the guy coming out of the middle, because we don't see it very often.
99 they did.
Yeah, exactly. They don't see it very often, but how hard is that to stop as a defender? Guy streaming out of the middle, your opponent runs straight at that guy, hits him on the chest, impossible to stop.
So Wanganeen Miller, you mentioned, it took a while to get him into the midfield, took us 19 rounds, but by goodness, is he having an impact. 21 disposals, kicked the goals, 5 score involvements. He's the real opportunity for the Saints. If they get the ball in his hands through that area of the ground, his ball use is elite, let alone his speed.
Dangerfield tries to burst through a couple of tackles, got his hands free at the last moment off to Atkins. His hand pass was intercepted by Dangerfield. Now a chance for Holmes. Hand pass inside, attacking 50, bounces to close. Hand passes to Manor, who snaps, and it's touched on the line. Wonderful work going back with the flight. Caminiti saved a certain goal. 11-3-69, plays 8-5-53 margin, 16 points, 5 played third quarter.
Jack still had 13 possessions and 11 tackles in that first half.
Yeah. Coming off a big game last week where he had 13 tackles. Cinches his way. Stocker comes in from fullback, drives it long to the wing. There's a cut down saw. And Hall comes away with it for St Kilda. Turns it over. Stewart takes the footy, ran into Boxall, caught holding the ball.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
The Cats just getting up, limping at the moment.
Pretty ginger is Paddy Dangerfield on that outer side. And young Hugh Boxall will take it for the Saints on that outer side. Big 45 at last year's draft. Kicks to half forward. Wangadeen Miller floats into the hole. Marks 60 metres from home at right half forward in the sunshine on the Moorabool Street side. He kicks an absolute dart inside the 50 onto the chest of Owens. 2 metres off the ground, across the body. Absolutely brilliant vision and execution.
Well, it's officially Larry Bird mode now for St Kilda. Celtics used to get it to Larry and get out the way. Now he's got to get it to Nas and get out the way. Let him do his business because he's electric at the minute.
What a kick.
That was an absolute laser beam. There's Wangadeen Miller up. And now Mitch Owens to finish things off. Pull it back to a 10-point game. Looking for his third. No. He can't meet the moment. 15-point break for the Cats is restored. 7 gone, third quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I'm starting to get worried if I'm Chris Scott again. If they can't get it out of the centre inside their forward 50 of the Cats, it's becoming a bit of a chore and they can't defend St Kilda's movement. That's the problem at the moment.
Holmes with the kick in, goes as far as he can. Nice mark by Martin. Stocker following Dangerfield in this third term. He trots off as does Stocker, follows in tandem. Geelong with the ball deep inside defensive 50. O'Sullivan short to Guthrie, flares it out wide, now to Holmes. Holmes at right half back, still 55 metres from his own goal line, so they haven't advanced this too far yet, the Cats. He goes short again and fires Humphreys, who long lead. He can go back to Holmes if he wants. Now he goes back inside defensive 50 to Henry.
This will frustrate the fans, but this is actually what they need to do here, the Cats at the moment.
Henry goes back to Humphreys, where he was before, and he says, well, I'll put the accelerator on. So he goes and takes a little bit of territory. High kick looking for Martin. It was going to be a tough one to mark, and Wilson comes over the top and spoils. Ball to be tossed in between wing and right half forward here for Geelong. 69 plays, 54, 15 points the margin in favour of the Cats.
Loz, have you got something for us downstairs?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Paddy Dangerfield right now getting work done on his left hip. So he hobbled off afterwards after you mentioned him being along with the doctor, and he's just getting some work from the doctor on his left hip at the moment.
Thanks, Loz. Lauren Borden on the boundary for us on ABC Sport this afternoon. Joel Peterson, Andrew Mays calling the footy for you. Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford, your experts. Free kick off the stoppage here. Going to Burns of St Kilda, top of the defensive 50. He wobbles it out wide, too wide, out of bounds on the full. Former Saint Stanley will take the mark. A big fella from Berry in the Riverland in South Australia.
Just about kicked Liam Stocker in the head. He's lying down on the boundary getting some work.
Yeah, he's very close to him. Stocker's on the AstroTurf section of the boundary line, and Stanley had to make a move in field. He pumps it inside forward 50 for the Cats. Wangadeen Miller are there. Somehow toe poked it up to himself. Handball went straight to Holmes. He handballed it forward for Geelong into the pocket. Caminiti and Blitzarves wrestle. Wilkie kept it alive to Taru, who spun across the boundary line. And the ball goes out. It'll be spun back in. 40 metres out from the Geelong goal at the river end here in this third term. They lead by 15 points. We've played 9 in the third.
She's struggling to break that 15-point barrier. Goal for goal, goal for goal. Just can't get 2 in a row.
Thrown into play. Cameron off the back, read it nicely. Able to juggle and get control of the footy. Hooks it back, not quite enough, to the behind line, and it's almost marked by Dempsey, but not quite in the end. And Wanganeen Miller will have a kick in. 11-4-70 the Cats, 8-6-54 the Saints. 10 minutes played in the third quarter.
So you don't necessarily like this either. Wangan Miller is your best midfielder. He's kicking in now. He's stuck in the back pocket. Kicks the ball long to this contest here. That's where he should be as a midfielder.
Coming up for disposal number 24, but he's turned it over. Dempsey, now the kick inside forward 50 for Geelong. Close, had a run at it, couldn't take it with him. Windhager bashes it out of there, only as far as Myers at half forward. His infield kick. Owens went straight through his legs, and the Cats are away again. Guthrie around the body, not the required distance. Manor standing start, kick got smothered by Burns. It still rolls its way to full forward. It still finds Cameron. He hooks it around the body. He can't get enough purchase on it, and the scrambling defence of St Kilda sees it out for a boundary throw-in deep in the left forward pocket.
They've learned a few lessons through the journey, I reckon, the Saints. They've really shut down that left leg of Jeremy Cameron in general play, Berkey, which we touched on in the second quarter.
4 first half goals for Jeremy Cameron this afternoon. Subs, if you're just joining us, Jack Bowes and Hunter Clark still on the bench for both teams. Thrown back into play, Marshall grabs it out of the ruck, then a little hand pass, couldn't find the target. Close becomes the tackler, long kick out of defensive 50. O'Connor in there, and Hall showing a little bit of speed, breaks away. Hand pass to Caminiti, now to McRae. Nice kick over the top into space to find Windhager. He looks centrally.
Great
Important kick this one. Is it good enough? Not quite.
They've got to do that, though. That's okay.
Mullen coming in at the last moment, took the mark and changes things up to Blitzarves.
Blitzarves right on halfway in the centre of the ground. Pauses for a moment, went somewhat dangerously back to Mullen, who had Sharman closing. And now out wide to O'Sullivan. Cats by 16, 11 and a half gone, third term.
So they're allowing this little kick mark game behind centre. But after that, they shut them down, the Saints.
Lots of Daniel Harford on ABC Sport. Long kick inside forward 50 from Guthrie. Taru, a massive fly. Came over the top of the pack. That energised the crowd. Ball spills to the foot of the pack, and we will have a stoppage. Chris Stanley's a little bit slow to rise, but eventually gets to his feet, where he'll tussle with Rowan Marshall 30 metres out from the Cats' goal. Stanley had the better of the tap. Dempsey on the outside of the boot, out of the pack. Brilliant finish. Game number 50 for Ollie Dempsey, and he continues to deliver good things for Geelong. The 48th goal of his career and the 24th of his season on the outside of the boot. And that puts the Cats 22 points to the good. 12-4-76 to 8-6-54 before Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford will go downstairs to Lauren Borden.
It looks like Paddy Dangerfield's just running on now as part of his rotation. I don't think it was a hip injury in the end. I think it might have been a corky at the lower end of his back. So he was getting work on that, then a little bit of tape stuck onto it as well. So giving him a little bit of discomfort, obviously, and taking some painkillers as well.
Just a note on the PA as well. They've got a bit confused. The people around the ground thought that Oisin Mullen kicked a goal. So that's why Ollie Dempsey got the Irish jig song.
Press the wrong button. It can happen. Wrong button. It can happen. Did we have the AC/DC playing the anthem one day at the MCG? They pressed the wrong button.
Ball back in the middle.
Afternoon, Shebex.
Smith, hand pass to Myers, who's pushed off it. Atkins was spun. Got the hand pass out still, though, to Stewart, who goes a little further wider to Henry, although the Saints are able to turn this over. Steele out of one tackle, not the second. Just didn't have the time there. Jack Steele backed into traffic, and Myers wins the free kick, darts it immediately in the direction of Stengel, but he turns it over off the outside of the boot. That's a poor kick, and at centre half back, Hill takes the mark for the Saints. Short attacking kick is good into the centre square. It's a Marshall who thought about giving it back to him by hand. Goes by foot to find Wilson, going up the left edge of the centre square. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Just hung for that second too long. Spoilers came over the top. Kick inside 50. It's not quite good enough manner there. Hand pass to Myers. Lovely kick to find Close at right half back.
Close off to Humphreys in front of the interchange. He pokes his kick to half forward. Neil's been quiet this afternoon. Knocks it on to Cameron. The Cats are out the back here. Dangerfield to Cameron. Marauding through the 50. Goes on over the top. And strolling into the open goal is Manor. And it didn't really matter who was there. It was always going to be a Cats goal. It's Sean Manor's third. And they really opened things up in a flash there, Geelong. as they have the margin out to 28 points. 13-4, 82 to 8-6, 54. Halfway through the third term, your experts are Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke.
Something a day, Sean Mayonnaise, 13 possessions, 3 goals, 6 score involvement. It's some sort of effort, some sort of output. Humphreys, Lawson Humphreys in the middle of the ground. Gee, I like the way he sees the game. Just identifies really quickly what he needs to do and executes it. Doesn't try and do too much, just puts the ball to the advantage of his teammates more often than not. He creates so much with his ball use and his decision-making, I reckon. He doesn't get a lot of love for that, I wouldn't have thought, from anyone watching the game outside of Cats fans, but geez, he's a clever player.
3 goals to 1 in this third term, and it is danger signs now for the Saints. Recalled bounce in the middle.
Graham Myers, when he gets right up near the half-back line, he always finds a target coming out of there, and it's always an attacking target. Such a valuable commodity.
Blitzarf's down only as far as Steele, though. Wanganeen Miller just sockers it off the ground, gained about 20 metres, almost hit the umpire. Higgins able to gather nicely, hand pass to Hill. Further hand pass is good to Wilson. Now the money kick inside. Not sure about that.
He's not claiming that.
It was a shank off the... And almost went at right angles, but Wanganeen Miller drifting inside attacking 50 takes the mark, and you wouldn't want it with anyone else.
To me, that's just reward for running. He wasn't going to get to where Wilson was actually aiming, but he kept running inside 50, just didn't spectate, stand and watch, and good things happen when you tend to stay involved in the game.
Wilson was looking to kick that into the forward pocket, and it's gone 25 metres sideways.
It was ankle bone, really.
Yeah. Wanganeen Miller up. Kicks from 49. He'll have the journey, and that just just shaped away at the last moment at the post. 13-4 plays 8-7. Margin back to 27 points in favour of the Cats. 16 played third quarter.
Yeah, that would have been important, that one. Can't afford to waste any chances.
Beautiful fluid motion for Wanganeen Miller. Up so much to make about his future. Guthrie darts in from fullback and then drives it long to Blitzarves. The two Sunbury boys link up. Blitzarves kicks it long down the line on the outer side. And guess who's bursting through? It's Manor. Tried to go the handball over the head looking for Dangerfield. Couldn't quite stick it. Owens comes back the other way. He blasted out of defence and out of bounds on the full.
I reckon Manor missed his fist. He went for the handball.
For those playing along at home, I know this is the home of out of bounds on the full. That's the 6th one so far we've had today.
Nathan Burke keeping tally for you. Ball now with Myers, who spears the kick into the pockets, and Dangerfield's been given a free kick with Wilkie in close quarters. And Paddy D, who's had a mixed afternoon in front of goal, which isn't unusual for him. 1 goal, 1 and 1 out on the full.
He's going to go to the snap this time. He's given up on the drop punt.
Left forward pocket, 35 metres out. He will try and hook it around the body. Let's see how he goes, the champ. Perfect. Absolutely beautiful from Paddy Dangerfield, who did not fluff his lines on that occasion. And he makes it the biggest margin of the game at 33. 88 the Cats, 55 the Saints. 18 minutes gone in the third term. And it is 4 goals to 1 so far, the other side of half-time.
Well, 3 goals in 5 minutes will do that, so it's broken the game open right now for the Cats. They've done a great job, because it did look when the Saints kicked that last goal, Sharman kicked that goal for the third quarter, that they were coming and going to be a bit of a threat, but they've stopped the ball across half forward. Importantly, in the last 7 or 8 minutes of play, the defenders are playing really high, pushing up really aggressively to intercept, get the flow through, and then you got your numbers ahead of the ball, like we've seen a couple of times already. So that's been the change from the Cats, and it's paid dividends on the scoreboard in this third term.
Andrew Mays and Joel Peterson are with you this afternoon. Your experts on ABC Sport, Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford and Lauren Borden on the boundary. Back in the middle, 33-point advantage now for the Cats, and they're doing some damage in this third term. Moore's coming as well. As Atkins goes long inside attacking 50. Neil came out, hitting it hard and beautifully. Front and centre was close. Seals the deal and kicks it. Classic crumbing goal from Brad Close. And they are getting close to getting beyond St Kilda here. Margin now out to 39 points. That's now 5 goals in this third term. And that's closest first for the afternoon.
It's pretty slick. I'll tell you who's making a difference, Berkey. Atkins in the middle of the ground. He He wasn't in there a lot, centre bounce in particular in that first half, but this third quarter he's been there a lot and made a big difference around the ground. I was asking for more contest grunt from the Cats in the second half if I was Chris Scott at half-time, Maisie, and I reckon Atkins is the guy that creates that for them. Plenty of skill on the outside and Hunt on the outside, but he's the one that gets really dirty, creates some opportunities for the Cats.
Yeah, Jack Sinclair was just following him into the contest. Close went one side, Sinclair went the other side, and the Cats won.
5-1 since half-time now for Geelong. They've put a real gap in the game. Craig tries to wrestle some of the impetus back for St Kilda, but he's handballed a steal. He's drawn to a close by Atkins, who's forever in there doing all the tough stuff. He's been pivotal here in this third term, as Daniel Harford said. McRae's kick wide for the Saints at the secondary ball up. Hill gave it to Higgins, high around the body, up toward Marshall. Floating back with it was Boxall, who tapped it on, trying to create something for the Saints. Marshall goes to ground at right half forward. Still a neutral footy there. Myers has a play. Wilson takes a big bump from De Koning as he and De Koning both contested the footy. Handball clear of the pack. Myers couldn't gather it. An uncharacteristic fumble. Picked up by Sharman. Curls the kick around the body. Not much talk between Hall and Hill. Hill eventually picks it up. Centering kick inside 50 for the Saints. Stewart read it well. Takes the mark. Got dragged down. Higgins didn't hear the call. And the umpire says, no, that's okay. It's time to go back behind the mark and take your kick.
Is that okay?
We're the only sport in the world who says, no, you didn't hear it's okay. We'll bring it back. Now up to the wing, long kick, close, couldn't take the mark. Wilkie at ground level, had one arm pinned, dropped the footy, umpire said he'll have it. Cats fans disagree as he comes in for the ball up. Quick ball up, Heath won it down, bounced off McRae, and then guess who? He's involved in a scrimmage and a tackle, and Atkins is pushed over the boundary line and out of bounds. Ball to be tossed in.
This third term really has stepped up, Tom Atkins.
Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts on ABC Sport. John Peterson, Andrew Mays calling the action for you. Lauren Borden on the boundary. Big day of footy coming your way. In Adelaide and Gold Coast, our South Australian audience a little bit later on. Atkins looking for disposal number 8. Gives away a free kick at the stoppage. In fact, it's going to Smith of the Cats, so will stay in Geelong hands. Get down to Loz for an update in the sec as Jack Bowes looks like he's preparing to come into the game. Jack Henry as the Cats chip it around inside defensive 50. Is that what's happening down there, Loz? Looks like Bowes is getting set.
Yeah, Bowes is just doing some handball warm-ups. Tom Stewart has come off and he's a little bit sore in his right knee. He was probably coming off. He's just getting that tested lying down right next to me, getting it tested by the doctor. So we'll keep an eye on him and see if it is Tom Stewart that's coming off, but Bowes is getting ready to come on.
It could almost be an opportunity to manage someone for Geelong if needed here in this half. Kick up the line for the Cats. He's turned over. The Saints chain it with a couple of quick handballs, and then De Koning worked Marshall under the footy illegally. And the big ruck will take it from left half forward for the Saints.
He wants to go quickly as well. Might set things up here. It hangs a long time in the air. Humphrey's able to intercept. Can he gather the bouncing ball? Not on the first attempt, but yes on the second. Bounces out of a tackle. Got a handball away in the direction of Holmes, who paddles it to his own advantage.
Nutmeg.
Then he nutmegged straight out of the World Game. He nutmegged Brad Hill. He missed his target though with the hand pass, and Owens is there. He's taken in a tackle. Ball spills free. Windhager feeds it back to Sinclair. With a bit of composure, he finds Hill out wide in the sunshine. Hill darts back inside with his kick to Marshall. And then he goes centrally to Steele, who's 60 from goal, looking for the inside 50 kick, and it's good enough to find Henry, who takes the mark 40 out directly in front.
Well, that was one of the few times they've been able to bring the ball into the middle of the ground and maintain possession. They've tried it a lot this quarter. Hasn't quite worked for them. They've had some dodgy decisions, 50-50 balls into the corridor. You can see what they're trying to do. Worked really well when it came off. They're just not quite as good decision-making and skillful to play that way just yet.
And behind for Liam Henry this afternoon. He'll kick from about 45. It's a high ball, but it is straight. And St Kilda just hang around. The door ever so slightly open. 33 points the margin. 15-4-94, plays 9-7-61, approaching the 25-minute mark in this third quarter Listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Big 5 minutes here.
Yep.
Saints, at the very least, has to go in with this margin at three-quarter time to give themselves any chance at all. If they can snag one, possibly two, well then game on in the last.
We're going to have a 666 infringement here, I'm sure.
Yep, looks that way. Let's go downstairs. Lauren Borden.
Yeah, Tom Stewart has been subbed off, so he had both his knees kind of assessed by the doctor there. They've decided just to pop him at the back of the bench. He's getting a few pats on the back as well, but it is Jack Bowes coming onto the ground. Tom Stewart off for Geelong.
Shake of the head from Tom Stewart. Flicks the hair back in frustration as he sits at the back of the bench, and Jack Bowes into the game for the Cats, as Loz told you. From the restart, Wanganeen Miller a dispossessed, stripped of it, caught holding the footy, didn't get rid of it. And so Blitzarves takes it from the centre circles, hands off to Guthrie, high kick inside the forward 50. Cameron sits under it, didn't get a run at it.
Got a jump, gone the other way.
Umpire must have seen the jumper tug there on Caminiti against Neil. So the two big fellas were wrestling next to the contest that most eyes were on. And Caminiti will take it from the defensive 50 for the Saints. Launches a long kick up the broadcast side wing. Heath front spot on De Koning. Brought it down. Hall was there. He's been relatively quiet this afternoon, especially by recent standards. Taken away for the Cats by Close to Manor to De Koning. Kicks to full forward. It's bashed away by Stocker. Spills to Manor. 3 already. Looking for a 4th. Not this time. Kicks away to the left. It makes it a 34-point game. Cats ahead. 26 gone in the third quarter.
Short kick in by Sinclair is okay to Hasty. He goes back to him by hand as he cruises on past. Then a bit more of a penetrating kick out towards left half back. The big spoil comes over the top from O'Connor. We'll have a ball in outer side between wing and half back. 15-5 plays 9-7, margin 34 points. Geelong asserting their authority in this third term so far. Marshall palms it down. Blitzarves went hunting, turns the tackler, and now Marshall just got a cord underneath him. An awkward kick out of the congestion. Wonderful pickup by Stengel. Hit it at full pace. Then a hand pass to Dempsey. Still left half forward here to Holmes, to Myers, back to Dempsey, all by hand. Now 60 out, and the important kick, not quite sure it was intended for Blitzarves. It's got about 8 metres inside 50. It was meant for Neil, but Blitzarves chimes in, takes the mark, and he'll line up from 45 out, 45-degree angle to the left.
Well, Shannon Neal just a 1 kick, 3 handballs, and you think, here's my chance. Leading out, kick straight on my chest, and then some other big bludger jumps in front of you and takes the mark. You have those games.
So in comes Blitzarves. It's across the face of goal.
Even worse, he does that.
Through for one behind. 15-6, 96 plays 9-7, 61, 28 played third term.
Almost like the 15-metre rule was being judged by intent rather than how far the ball actually travelled. Well, you meant to kick it that far and the other guy got in the way, so we'll let you have this one. Long kick up to the wing. Clark is into the game for the Saints. Owens is over the top of it, tackled by Bowes, spills to ground. Hall is wrapped up as well. And we'll have a stoppage. Lauren Borden downstairs.
Hunter Clark's just run on for St Kilda as well as their sub. It looks like it's Darcy Wilson that's been pulled to the back of the bench. So both subs have been made in the last 5 minutes or so by both clubs.
He's firmly got a case of the second-year Blues. Darcy Wilson just struggling to find his best at the moment. 33 in the VFL last week, but not much impact today as Clark, with those fresh legs, is pushed across the boundary line by Sheen Mullen. And the ball will be tossed back in. Centre of the broadcast wing here at Kardinia Park. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. Joel Peterson and Andrew Mays calling it for you. Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts. Loz Borden on the boundary. It is Geelong by 35 points, nearing three-quarter time.
Collingwood Fremantle about to kick off at the MCG as well. Holmes from the stoppage. Hand pass to Cameron, who was almost caught. Just got the hand pass away to Close, who runs to about 70 from goal. Puts it into space. It was on a platter for Stengel. It was almost too easy. He dropped the chest mark and then got it back to Close, who goes for take 2. And Neil over the top takes a lovely mark. Just too tall and too strong in that contest, and he'll line up in the left forward pocket for the Cats about 40 from goal.
No one was getting his way that time.
No, that wasn't meant for him either. He's gone right out. That's the way we're playing things up here. Just poach anyone we want. With poor old Darcy Wilson, though, there's nothing worse than being subbed out, but your last involvement in the game was a front centre crumb. The ball goes under your legs to your opponent who has a shot for goal. He was punching the ground, doesn't get a chance to atone for it.
Neil looking for his first of the afternoon. It's across the face of goal for one behind. 3 in a row now for the Cats, who have been accurate this afternoon. 15-7 plays 9-7. 6 straight goals the margin after half an hour in this third quarter.
He's got a lot of upside as young Darcy Wilson. No doubt he'll find his feet after a really impressive first year. Wangadeen Miller comes into Hill, who goes back to Wangadeen Miller, who kicked it into Stengel. Turnover here for the Cats. Manor, Myers, handball back to Stengel. Now Dempsey on the edge of the 50 out at left half forward. High kick, dangerous spot. Atkins crashes the pack, brings it to ground. It's cleared out of there by Windhager. Straight back to Dempsey, who's able to pull it in. And now he's away. Left foot kick, inside 50. Manor in the right spot. 3 goals, 2 to his name already, Sean Manor. He'll go back and shoot for a career best 4th.
That's terrible defending by the Saints. It was just a scrummy kick off the left foot, 30 metres, inside forward 50. There's at least a dozen Saints down there, and the smallest bloke's taken uncontested mark.
What a find this man's been. Sean Manor, originally from Lavington on the thick New South Wales border, finds his way to Werribee and now to Geelong, shooting for his 4th. He misses it away to the right-hand side. He punches the turf in frustration as the quarter ends with his behind. The Cats kicked 4 behinds to close the term, so they could have had that lead out to more than it is. It sits at 37 points, but they could have absolutely blown the doors off this game with a quarter to go. And we turn for home. Geelong 15-8, 98 to St Kilda 9-7-61. A win for the Cats takes them to 12-6 on the season, and they will be 2 games clear inside the top 8. Jeremy Cameron has 4. Sean Manor has 3 goals, 3 on the afternoon. A very profitable one for him. Dangerfield with 2. Stengel with 2. Jack Martin has 2 as well for the Cats. Singles to Ollie Dempsey in game 50 and Brad Close as well for St Kilda. It was tougher going there in that term, unfortunately, for the Saints. Cooper Sharman and Liam Henry kicked their goals. 1 also to Wanganeen Millerer, and then a pair to each of Higgins, Owens and Mason Wood.
Matches still to come today. Big one at the MCG with Collingwood hosting Fremantle, and at the conclusion of this match, we'll take you to the Adelaide Oval for the Crows hosting the Suns. So a big afternoon of footy with big implications in that top 8. You're listening to Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
First gig, favourite party tune. Every Aussie song comes with a memory. And on July 26, Triple J and Double J will be counting them down.
Hottest 100 of Australian songs.
Catch it on Triple J, Double J and the Triple J app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Couple of entries early on. Up high was Cameron, and Wilkie came through and then dropped her. That is holding the ball. So Stengel with the free kick. 40 out. Kicks from 35 and gets it. Never in doubt.
With the first goal, this second half. Look at Wanganeen Miller comes streaming out of the centre, kick inside forward 50, and Cooper Sharman elevates and extends again. Cooper Sharman after the brilliant mark. It's a brilliant finish. Stanley had the better of the tap. Dempsey on the outside of the boot, out of the pack. Brilliant finish. Game number 50 for Ollie Dempsey. And he continues to deliver good things for Geelong. When the Cats are out the back here, Dangerfield to Cameron, marauding through the 50, goes on over the top, and strolling into the open goal is Manor. Now with Myers, who spears the kick into the pockets, and Dangerfield's been given a free kick. Let's see how he goes, the champ. Perfect.
Atkins goes long inside attacking 50. Neil came out, hitting it hard and beautifully front and centre was close. Seals the deal and kicks it. And then he goes centrally to Steele, who's 60 from goal, looking for the inside 50 kick, and it's good enough to find Henry. It's a high ball, but it is straight.
When it is Jack Bowes coming onto the ground, Tom Stewart off. Hunter Clark's just run on for St Kilda as well as their sub. It looks like it's Darcy Wilson that's been pulled to the back of the bench.
Poor old Darcy Wilson, though. There's nothing worse than being subbed out, but your last involvement in the game was a front and centre crumb. The ball goes under your legs to your opponent who has a shot for goal. He was punching the ground. He doesn't get a chance to atone for it.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Welcome back to Kidinia Park. Geelong 15-8-98, leading St Kilda 9-7-61 at three-quarter time at the MCG. It's a behind-a-piece between Collingwood and Fremantle in the opening stages of the first term. And after this, we're headed to the Adelaide Oval for the Crows and the Gold Coast Suns, where we find Quentin Hull. Hello, Quentin.
Maisie, it's a gorgeous day in the City of Churches, and if instalment 2 of this game is as half as good as instalment 1 was, we're going to be in for a great day of footy. Remember the Isaac Rankin non-mark back in round 4 at Carrara? That was the exclamation point on what was a terrific game of footy where the Suns won by just a point. But if they are to come and beat the Crows here today, it will be the first time that they've won at the Adelaide Oval. Extraordinary that the Gold Coast Suns are yet to achieve that feat. 11 starts, no wins. The Crows, 3 wins in a row coming into this one. So too the Suns. Both of them have got 5 losses. Adelaide's played the 1 extra game, so they've got the 12 wins to the Suns' 11 wins. Jordan Butts and Braden Cook out for the Crows, with Nick Murray to return to the senior team with Luke Pedlar. And a new Sun we will see today as well, the mature age debutant Ben Jepson, who apparently is a really good field kick. He'll come into the team. Leo Lombard, the young kid, also in, with Tuke Miller out with a hamstring, and Lockie Weller not playing as well. It's been a cool morning. There's a few clouds around, but the Adelaide Oval's ready to hum with the sound of 40,000 plus Crows fans, and with a manner of respect as well, Maisie. Very noticeable coming in from the river end to see that the Barry Robran statue, as expected, adorned with a North Adelaide scarf and flowers around for the Hall of Fame great who passed during the week. Can't wait to share the call with Tom Wilson, Dean Brogan, Rod Jamieson and Liz Walsh.
Looking forward to it, Quentin. That will be a ripper this afternoon. A bit of spice in that one too, obviously, from the first instalment with Mac Andrew and Riley Thilthorpe. Looking forward to the return bout this afternoon after the conclusion of this one. But Geelong 15-8-98, leading St Kilda 9-7-61. Daniel Harford and Nathan Burke, our experts this afternoon on ABC Sport. What do you see happening in this final term?
Well, you want to see the Saints continue to fight. That's what you want to see. For the contest perspective, from our perspective, just watching the game as neutrals, but also from St Kilda's perspective, this is a team that's certainly developing. It's not necessarily the job that Ross Lyon was brought in for, as Berkey was talking about before the game, but you want to see them find an identity, keep establishing an identity with this new crop of players coming in. There's some guys given an opportunity. Big Maxie Heath's going to start in the ruck in this last term. We talked about Alex Tarou and his involvement. Max Hall, forward's been terrific as well with his work rate. So there's options and opportunities for real growth for this St Kilda side. It's going to be possibly a bridge too far, I reckon 33 points, but you just want to see them keep coming in this last term.
So a big task for the Saints, 37 points down at three-quarter time. And Geelong will be looking for some very handy percentage with the cramped top of the ladder. Nice bounce down in the middle to start this final term, and Dangerfield's onto it, runs beautifully away from that stoppage. Inside attacking 50, good fist from Stocker at ground level. Cats trying to get numbers there, but St Kilda are first to answer. Burns attacking handball to Stocker, off one step, goes outside of defensive 50. Hill did nicely to work O'Connor underneath it, but then the ball bounced on its point and back to O'Connor. And now the Cats go inside 50. Manor, short chip to Holmes, intercepted. Well, that was very lucky indeed, and well done by Hall. The outlet kick is good too to find Marshall, and maybe he can roll and go.
No one ahead of him though, Maisie. It was a vacant 50, it was a vacant forward half, so he went out wide to Hill by hand. Hill's now got Owens, the lone man inside 50 for the Saints. Couple of Cats back there. O'Connor leading the race for Geelong in the left back pocket. Now it's picked up by Higgins, who dribbles one toward goal. Wanganeen Miller are on the goal line. He cut it back straight into the goal umpire's boots.
What's he?
What are we looking for?
What are you looking at, buddy? He kicked it straight in, you went through
So
for the goal.
the goal umpire is standing in the middle of the goals. Wangadeen Miller has rifled it into his legs, and we have to go upstairs to determine if it's a goal. It's hit you on the knee, mate. Where do you reckon the ball is?
And you're behind the line, champ.
That's the most ridiculous one I think we've ever seen.
That's a strange goal review.
That's astonishing.
It's hit you in the left leg, which is...
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball would have gone through the goals.
And it did go through the goals.
It went through the goals before it hit the goal umpire, and then went through the goals after it hit him. It went through twice.
Is that 2 goals?
It's only 1 on the scoreboard, but the score review has hit new levels of farcical here at Kidinia Park this afternoon. 10-7-67 to 15-8-98. And gee whiz, among the there's people suggesting priorities for Greg Swan everywhere. That's got to be at the top of the list.
Yep, that's one. And the other one that I've noticed today as well is boundary umpires, you don't need to take 5 breaths and compose yourself and centre yourself and settle yourself down to throw the ball over your head. Pick it up and throw it over your head.
What's happened to the chip in the ball?
That's for the girls' game only, it seems. FLW. And they're not quite sure about it there either.
They know about Does the AFL know about AFLW half?
It's a grey area. It's a grey area.
Bounce in the middle, and
25 days.
It was an awkward bounce, and Heath just knocked it to centre half forward, much to the annoyance of the umpire, who has to wait for his mate to come in and pass it back to him, and we'll go again in the middle.
Loving the ads. Have you seen all the ads on telly?
They're fantastic, aren't they?
15-8 plays 10-7. Written and authorised by Ed Burke.
Supported by Dino.
Kick inside, attacking 50 here for the Saints, who've started pretty quickly in this final term, but coming the other way is O'Connor, and then goes straight up the centre square. And just paddling it to his own advantage was Jeremy Cameron, who takes the one-hander, then kicks inside, attacking 50. Massive collision. Stocker one way, close with all the courage in the world, coming back. He's okay, or both players are okay. Stocker Hunter Clark it was rather, just limping away from that one. Let's keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, inside forward 50, was that a high tackle? No, it wasn't. It's held up at the top of the goal square by the Saints. Jeez, that was a crunching collision.
It was good courage.
Hunter Clark's just one of those blokes. Any time he's involved in anything like that, you kind of just hold your breath.
And Liam Stocker as well. He gets his fair share of knocks in that situation.
Top of the goal square for the Cats, the stoppage, and we'll have it all done again. Never played 20 games in a season, Hunter Clark, now in his 8th year. He has been ravaged by injury, the former first-round pick of St Kilda. Heath controls it down behind his head. Numbers around the footy for the Saints. Manor has a go at it. Here is Clark. He's dragged to the turf by Manor and Martin. And we'll have it tossed up again. Cats led by 22. Kicked the first 5 of the game. They led by 22 at quarter time, 15 at half time, a game high 37 at 3/4 time. They're up by 31 with the ball inside forward 50 here early in the last. Slap clear of the ruck contest. Wood waits a haul. Hall's kick a turnover. It's coming back in. Zach Guthrie's got it at half forward.
Option short, it's Myers. That's where he heads. Myers 51 from goal, then pops it out wide uncharacteristically. Turns it over. Wanganeen Miller chimes in and takes the mark. It's almost like he was looking for something to happen there and it didn't. And it's just a couple of Saints. Now Wanganeen Miller has to run and kick as long as he can. Dempsey did extremely well to not give away the free kick but run interference, then mops up at ground level off to Close, who's got everyone open inside 50, burnt the ball and missed. Geez, they were screaming for it on the outer side, Bowes and Martin. But one behind it is, and the door ever so slightly ajar for the Saints. Well, it might close here with a poor kick in. Luckily, the sanctity of the boundary line was there, and Sinclair is happy to reset next to the behind post. 15-9-99 plays 10-7-67. Played 5 minutes in this final term.
And no one's safe this afternoon on ABC Sport. We're lining them up left, right and centre. Half and Berkey have got the guns loaded and they're ready to fire. Ball tucked back in. Free kick in the ruck contest. No, free kick somewhere. Who would know?
Against
honestly,
Bailey Smith.
It's Bailey Smith who's got the arms out. That would have been a free kick for dissent at some point, but clearly not anymore.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Another one for Swanee. Big list.
Lasted about 2 weeks. Max Hall kicks an absolute dead pigeon outside the defensive 50. Heath goes to ground, picks it up. He's wrapped up by Stanley.
Where's that saying come from? Dead pigeon.
It comes from the great Rick Coburn, Cheerio Rick, former coach of South Bendigo. Doesn't fly particularly well, the dead pigeon. So anything that sort of wobbles its way off the boot. And this is a ruck free kick. This one's going to Heath.
Ruck Lotto.
Yep. So he came up red 42. Heath gets it off to Wangadeen Miller, who's had 32 disposals now and 2 goals too, and the Saints build it to half forward.
Short kick is okay to find Boxall, who can kick inside attacking 50. Plenty of numbers in front of him, so it's going to be hard to pick a target out of all that. So he just lays into it as far as he can. It'll land 20 metres out from goal. Or Marshall paddled it to his own advantage and raked it in on the second attempt.
That's where they missed Tom Stewart being on the ground. For that sort of a kick inside the forward 50 or the defensive 50 for Geelong, everyone's wrestling with their opponent. Tom Stewart says, you know what, my bloke's not dangerous. I'll come over and I'll either mark that or smash that 20 metres away. Such an important player for them.
So Marshall. He'll kick from 25 out directly in front. And he trots. Pushes it to the right but sneaks it in. And the Saints stay alive. 15-9-99 plays 11-7-73. They've started this final term well, St Kilda. 2 unanswered goals, and they're still in this contest, Nathan Burke and Daniel Harford.
Well, they are. I mean, as you say, they kicked the only 2 goals for the quarter, so that gives them half a chance. Still a fair way behind on the scoreboard with that 26-point margin, but they're looking dangerous. The Cats, I'm not sure if the foot's off the gas at the minute or it's just a phase of play. They're trying to conserve the game just for a little while and then attack maybe through the middle patches this term. But they certainly look like they haven't brought the energy in this last term that we saw in that third quarter. So that's their challenge now, to get that adrenaline back into the veins and get back on the job, because at the moment they are being outplayed a bit.
Adelaide and the Gold Coast Suns coming up about 3:30 Central Time. Bounce down in the middle to get us going once more. 26-point ball game. Can this run continue for the Saints? Wangadeen Miller has been so integral to it, and he gets the clearance here. Gets his legs free and kicks to Marshall. He comes scooting past. Disposal 34 for Wangadeen Miller. Inside 50. Oh, the Viking came flying in and he wasn't paid the mark. Picked up by Wood. Wood sends it to full forward. Back with the flight is Jack Henry. Gee, Taru's got to be awfully stiff to not get paid the mark. Henry marks along the behind line, chips it short to O'Connor. Cats inside the defensive 50. And just trying to build the footy up and find a way out.
He goes as long as he can towards the boundary line, out of side. Oh, good mark by Wilkie over the top. And he wants to go quickly as well. That's a good kick to Hall, who can spin and go inside attacking 50. He's got Steele free, goes longer instead. He saw Owens out the back, who gets a fire and takes the mark. Saints doing some nice things in this final term. Owens will go back from 15 out, slide angle to the right.
So the Cats were defending the line of ball. It was left half forward for the Saints. So they defended that sort of line to goal. Left the open side a bit desolate in terms of defenders. Owens saw that, moved into that space, and the kick was good enough to find him, and he's such an athlete. It was always going to be a challenge to spoil that ball.
In comes Mitch Owens. 2 already this afternoon.
Mitch. Oh, Mitch.
Oh, he misses, and every St Kilda fan here at the ground had their head in their hands after that one. 11-8-74 plays 15-9-99.
He kicks that. I reckon there's a fair surge of energy through the Saints fans.
He would have got it back to 20 points.
One of the players.
Humphreys down the line, kicks long. Boxall might have had his arm dragged down. No free kick for that. The Cats take possession. Martin to close, back to Martin. Manor over his head, blind handball, no good. Not everything's working for Sean Manor now. Steele takes it away for the Saints. To Caminiti to drive St Kilda back up toward half forward again. O'Connor playing the Stewart role. Came third man in. Couldn't take the mark. And now the ball spills to ground at right half forward for the Saints. And we will have a ball up. 25 points the margin. 11 gone in this final term. John Peterson, Andrew Mays calling it for you on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke, Daniel Harford, your experts. Lauren Borden on the boundary at the stoppage. The Saints with the inside forward 50 entry. Sinclair a rainmaker inside the arc. Owens couldn't mark, taken by Holmes. Nervous handball to Mullen, an even more nervous kick. Out of bounds on the full. The Saints will get another look.
Making some errors, the Cats. Some of their own doing. There's been a little bit of flair that hasn't come off, but otherwise the pressure on the Saints is pretty good.
Sinclair with the footy. He spotted Wanganeen Miller. I think it was meant for him. It went over his head into a contest. Geelong have the numbers ground level now. A hand pass from Myers. He works the 1-2 with Close. Now he's up to the centre circles, takes 2 bounces, then kicks inside attacking 50. Lovely pass to Neil. It was just beyond him. He's able to gather Neil and then, gee, looked like a giraffe trying to kick off his left foot.
Is it the first time he's noticed he's had a left foot in 5 years?
I think so.
In his life?
I think it's just for standing on.
Just for balance.
Out of bounds on the full, so St Kilda with an opportunity now.
Atrocious.
The ball drop was something quite magnificent in a macabre sort of a way. Kick clears toward McRae at half-back.
Was it a double-handed ball drop?
It was like a Statue of Liberty-style ball drop. It came from above his head just about.
It's number 8 out on the full, by the way, too.
Good.
Berkey's onto it for you on ABC Sport this afternoon. That one in a slightly more unorthodox manner. Marshall and Blitzarves just bashing into one another at the stoppage. It's at half-back for the Saints. Steele lays on top of it. What's that for Jack Steele? Tackle number 14.
That's the other thing we can speed up the game. Standing there and going, hey, you two ruckmen, get a metre apart. Get a metre apart. Just throw it up.
Just chuck it up. They can sort themselves out. Wanganeen Miller thought he was held. Umpire in the centre of the ground agreed with him.
And the one who's 5 metres away was saying, no free kick.
There's no free kick.
And so Isaiah Wanganeen Miller, a 35th disposal that he's coming up for now. 8 clearances, 9 score involvements, 2 goals, 2.
Probably featuring Berkey's votes, I reckon.
He got in early.
Sharp handball at the 13-minute mark of the last quarter. Price continues to rise for this man, Naz. He's the subject of so much interest going forward.
Big fist from the contest as well, and we'll have a ball in at right half forward here for the Saints with another opportunity.
Well, here's one player who they're talking about big money for next year who's actually putting his price up in the second half of the year. And some of them aren't necessarily doing that. Throw it in, champ. Now, quick.
We wait for it to spin back into play. Blitzarves, only as far as Wanganeen Miller. Lightning handball to Wilkie, now to Windhager, who kicks off the outside of the boot. Just to the top of 50, Steele. Almost didn't go the ball in the end, just turned his body to protect himself. Ball spills free, now a chance for Dempsey. Dempsey turns around, kicks long. It's a 2-on-1. Good spoil by Caminini. Off to McRae, now to Hill. Tackled by Neil. The kick in the middle just missed. Henry, and then a wonderful tackle on Guthrie, who looked like he was about to break away. And we'll have a ball up right in the middle, and Hunter Clark gets to his feet gingerly, like he often does. Poor old Hunter Clark.
Sort of a permanent state of being for Hunter Clark. Steele, speaking of, permanent state of being on the ground in the clinches. Umpire oscillates around the pack and pings him.
Then they see that one arm just go out like a big claw and pull it back in. They always pin him. Fair enough.
Manor from the centre of the ground in the sunshine here, which is dipping below the western stand on the broadcast side here at Kilda Park. Goes route 1A to goal, straight up the pipe. Neil crashed the pack, couldn't take it with him. Now Wilkie, a Barry Robran medalist, of course, at North Adelaide before coming to the Saints. Clearing kick, bounces its way to Henry. And now to Hill. Handball went looking for McRae at half-back. Crashing through came Atkins. He loops the handball out wide to Myers. Not clean with it. And Mason Wood grabs him, drags him to the turf. 55 metres out from the Cats' goal, a stoppage.
15-9 plays 11-8. The margin at 25 points. Tossed up. Heath won it behind himself. Atkins ranked it free out of Wanganeen Miller, and now the hand pass to Bowes, who goes the checks on. What a finish from the sub and from the pocket. 16-9, 105 Geelong, 11-8, 74 St Kilda. And that is the exclamation mark on this one. 31 points now the margin, 15 played, final term on ABC Sport.
We'll
it's always the way in the half. You miss an easy one up one end, and a couple of minutes later, banana from the pocket, the other team make you pay. So you got the sense that it turned into a bit of a scrap this game, and it was going to take something special to actually get a goal in the end, and that was Bo's lovely running shot. Banana from the pocket really puts the game beyond doubt now. So it's interesting to see whether the Saints still keep that fight and play this game out, or whether the floodgates do open a little bit in the last 10 minutes.
We're in the grounds in Super Netball minor semi-final. So the loser goes home. The Adelaide Thunderbirds have been defeated at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre by the Melbourne Vixens. So last year's grand finals going head-to-head. The Vixens getting a level of retribution, so they'll progress, and the Thunderbirds are out.
Big result. Man, we've got the restart here. Hunter Clark comes sprinting clear, sends it to full forward. It's bashed away of Sharman, who kept it in front of himself. Couldn't get Boots a ball at the top of the square for the Saints. They all can't. They're flinging Boots at it at full forward. Owens included. Clearing kick now. Falls into the lap of Mason Wood. He kicked a great goal at this end in the second term. He went to centre it up and do the team thing. Looking for Hall, who has to retreat back to Heath. The big moose off a step inside the forward 50. Ripped out of the air by O'Sullivan. That's a powerful defensive mark from the youngster, who has really shown a lot, playing so consistently this year for the Cats. He takes the mark inside the back 50.
Long kick out of defence. Neal comes up, couldn't take the mark. Stengel front and centre. Hand pass is a good one too to Manor off his left. Hooks it back towards Dangerfield, who nudged his opponent underneath the ball. Stocker. Is it in the side or in the back? The player said in the back.
Real time, it looked pretty in the side. Stocker just made the most of it.
Stocker goes back inside defensive 50 to Sinclair. And he goes out wide to find Hasty. Collingwood by a goal at the MCG as well in the first term. Call of that available via the ABC Listen app if you're keen to get across that result. And just a reminder, we'll be taking you to the Adelaide Oval at the conclusion of this one this afternoon. Into the middle go the Saints through Hill. He kicks inside, attacking 50. Geelong with the numbers. O'Sullivan could have marked it. He opted to punch it in the end. It got all the way to Gunner at the top of defensive 50, who kicks short. And then, is that holding the ball or play on? Umpire says play on. So St Kilda coming the other way through Owens. A hand pass out wide to McRae. McRae goes short to Taru, who takes the mark.
The sun must be playing havoc for long balls inside the 50, the right-hand side of the ground is your broadcast screen, your radio dial.
So Alex Taru, we've seen him a little bit more up forward this afternoon. Done a few different jobs. Started on Jeremy Cameron. And this for his first goal in the big time. He'll kick from 45 and pulls it badly. In fact, he missed everything. Out of bounds on the full.
He's a backman.
Just wanted to keep it in the sunshine down at that end.
That's 9.
Well done,
Have we ever had double figures, Berkey?
Down here,
record keeping.
There's magnets in the front row of this stadium. Sure of it, leather magnets.
Have to have had. There's one just out there at half-back, Berkey, where you kicked the ball about 7 times in the last quarter as deliberately as you like in round 10, 1999.
It's called footy smarts, Joel.
Yep. The umpire was onto it, and that's why you had 3 votes on that particular afternoon. Clearing kick outside defensive 50 for the Cats. Neal got a little bit more involved in the game in this second half. Smith pops the handball over the top. DeConey's just been a little bit rusty on return this afternoon. Unsure of himself. Steele hooks the kick around the body after he does a little pirouette close to the boundary. And the mark is taken defensively by Mullen for Geelong, who comes across the defensive 50 to O'Sullivan, and now out into the sunshine on the Hickey stand wing for Guthrie.
He takes off, runs his full measure, then kicks out wide. Stockers in front of Dangerfield there, and he spoils it on the half volley out of bounds.
With no intent to keep it in.
Yeah, so that's not a marking contest, I wouldn't say.
No,
but
that's insufficient intent, in my opinion.
Agree. Ball to be tossed back into play. Right half forward for Geelong. In the sunshine. Spinning back in. Steele. He's never had any space whatsoever there. Taken immediately, and we'll have another stoppage. Downstairs, Lauren Borden.
I'm just looking at Tom Stewart, who was subbed off in the third quarter. He looks so sore. So he's got ice on his left knee, his right knee's got strapping on it. He just stood up to talk to Mark Blitzarves and sat down. You could just see him kind of grimace, like, like kind of an old man getting up from his chair, that kind of soreness as
We
he
know,
sat
Loz.
down. Yeah.
We know that feeling every day, Loz.
You might be able to explain it better than me.
No, you did a good job.
Didn't get off the bench at half-time, and he was sitting there looking rather frustrated with proceedings. Third stoppage in a row out at right half forward for the Cats.
Well, that's 7 a.m. most days, that.
Steele and Holmes find each other in the mess. No one's coming clear of that. Holmes had 28 leads, all comers for Geelong. Dempsey's had 25 and a goal in game 50. Isaiah Wangadine Miller with 36 and 2 goals, 2 for St Kilda. Free kick coming here to the Saints, and Mason Wood, St Joey's product from here in the local Geelong League. Back to Wilkie, game 150 for the Evergreen Saints, who gets caught inside the defensive 50. Manor was onto him in a flash, just got the handball away. Ends up with Wood, who bashes it down the Hickey stand side, and Atkins takes a good mark floating in defence.
Been excellent this afternoon, Atkins.
Yeah, he stepped up in the second half. The Saints have done a good job managing Holmes and Smith in the second half. But guys like Atkins have stepped up, Manor as well. Myers has pushed up into the middle of the ground.
Runs the boundary line, then kicks to 60 out. No mark taken. Stocker almost gave it to the opposition. He did as Dangerfield burst through. Got it to Stengel, who went the banana. It's going to swing towards Dempsey, who couldn't take the mark, and it bounces through for one behind. 16-10, 106. 11-8-74 the Saints. 32 points the margin. 22 played final quarter.
Sinclair brings it in from fullback. Stocker takes the mark. Comes out toward half-back, and Big Reece Stanley's across to fist out of play. Toby Conway made his return in the VFL for the Cats last night, but Stanley has been pretty solid this season for Geelong. Last week, of course, spent the first 5 years of his career with St Kilda before making his way down to the Cattery. Holmes slides in, and Steele is there once more for a ball up. 16-10, 106, 11-8-74. Cats ahead by 32. They've led by as many as 37 in the game. Hunter Clark got a handball away at the stoppage, at least he thought so. The umpire didn't agree with him, and so Atkins will take it from left half forward for Geelong.
Tackling machine comes up with another one. Short kick is okay to find Martin, 60 from goal. A couple of metres inside the boundary line, left half forward here. He goes short to Smith, who takes the mark. He's 55 from goal. Probably have the journey here if he uses the man on the mark effectively, which is exactly what he does. Goes all the way and not quite home. It's rushed through for one behind.
They don't want to score a review that time?
Surely. Well, I actually thought they should score a review.
Close enough.
Let's not encourage them, shall we?
Need to get to the Adelaide Oval at 4 o'clock. So one behind, 16-11, plays 11-8. 33 points now the margin.
Sinclair stands at the top of the defence. Oh, he almost missed his hand with the handball. He didn't kick from full back. Caminiti around the body. It's nervous stuff in defence for the Saints. Even Wilkie's not sure of foot inside that back arc. And he's now caught holding the ball.
Hit him. It's out of bounds.
I thought the umpire...
The boundary umpire can't. He's on his tippy toes looking over the top to see whether it went out of bounds. It was over bounds line by a foot.
Al Wilkie in game 150 has been pinged for holding the ball.
He's just laughing.
Yeah. And young Connor O'Sullivan has got his opportunity. The second-year Cat, pick 11 in the 2023 draft out of the Albury Tigers. Hasn't kicked a goal. If he can kick this one, it'll be something special. From beyond the boundary, lines up the stick.
Oh, another one.
And Berkey,
11.
That's number 11. Out of bounds on the full near side. 33 points is the Cats' lead. 25 go on final turn.
You guys were scoffing at me counting these.
No scoff.
Thinking, why wasting time? But 11, that's pretty interesting stat. That's the most interesting stat of the day.
3 votes in Burke.
Again. Clark has the footy, kicks towards the runner in the middle, who...
Tony Brown, get out of the way.
Quick to get out of there.
He was out here that day as well.
He would have been, yeah.
Umpire said, play on. No infringement. Hall kicks inside, attacking 50 over the head of Owens into the forward pocket. And it trickles over for a boundary throw-in.
Aussie Jones have been floating around.
Yes.
Gavin Mitchell kicked the first goal of the game in about 30 seconds.
Good goalie.
Zilla, was he playing?
Yep, Dirty Zilla. Yep, Dirty went out there.
Toss back into play. Now Higgins with the snap.
Inside out.
Oh, it didn't quite swing back enough. Taru did well to try and keep it in, but Geelong were able to force it over for one behind. 16-11-107 Geelong. The Saints now 11-9-75. 26 played final term.
Actually, Hodgson would have dominated the back line, wouldn't he, that day?
Yep. Yes, I dare say so. That was probably Timmy Watson's greatest effort as coach.
What was that?
They did cut to Tim Watson in the broadcast box at one point, and I thought, shit, I forgot that happened. And I think most St Kilda fans probably wanted to as well. On the outer side, kick down the line. Myers did really well. Now away to Smith. Smith sends the Cats inside the forward 50. And Cameron stands tall and gives young Gus Hasty a bit of a glance and says, young man, you've got a little bit to learn about the caper. Matched up against players like me. 35 metres out, slight angle right of centre. Cameron squeezes the ends of the footy in his customary way. And he'll set up to go around the body for number 5. A handful for Jezza, who once again has proved a handful for this Saints defence. Margin out to 38 points now for Geelong after the Saints looked a sniff early in the term. 17-11-113. St Kilda 11-9-75. 27.5 gone in the final quarter. Sunday footy on ABC Sports.
What would have been your after-goal song, Berkey? Oh, you got one that sort of stands out?
Not that music you were playing last week, would it be? The sort of
a little bit of class.
Very atmospheric.
I brought a little bit of class into the box last week.
Did you?
And a little bit of a Jennifer Thomas. And these heathens here.
Think of like if you went to a day spa, as there's music in the background, basically.
Right.
Is that a fair characterisation?
It possibly, yes. I call it a little bit of class.
Ambience and class.
Holmes bursts free from the centre. Kicks up towards Bowes, who couldn't take the mark. Receives the hand pass, though. It gets away from him, but he's able to just shrug the hill tackle, and then another. His little hand pass is okay, but the kick forward is out of bounds. No, Jezza Cameron smashes it back in, then dives on the footy.
It's got to be a free kick.
That has to be holding the ball. Yes, eventually. We got there in the end.
Why do we wait?
And 50 as well. So Cal Wilkie with a late gift in his 150th game this afternoon. He'll be marched all the way inside the centre square.
Why is he being marched over there? Umpire's lost his radar here.
He doesn't run backwards in a straight line.
Stanley turns it over to Marshall. Now to Clark.
By the siren.
There is only a minute and a half left, but it could be a long minute and a half. Back in the middle now, St Kilda. Off to Hall, who wanted to keep going. Just got the kick away. Holmes is there. He's tackled by Sinclair. Steele picks it up. Hand pass to Hall, who goes, I'll have a ping, because nothing else is happening. He goes from 55 and misses to the left-hand side. 17-11-113 plays 11-10-76. Closing stages of this final term.
76 for the Saints is a pretty good score, so Ross Lyon will have something to spin into a positive.
Generally pretty good at doing that is Ross. Ball out of play from the kick-in.
Average 93 points against, so 113 wouldn't be overly pleasing Ross today.
Kicked 100 just the once all season with the Saints. Halfway gone in this final term, sending you to the Adelaide Oval very shortly for Adelaide and the Gold Coast. What a critical game that's going to be in both of those sides run home. Looking forward to that this afternoon as Hall takes it away from the stoppage and spears it to Sharman, who takes the mark. Quinton Hull, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson, Dean Brogan and Liz Walsh coming your way very shortly from the Adelaide Oval here on ABC Sport. If you want to hear Collingwood and Freo, of course you can via the ABC Listen app. Here's Cooper Sharman from beyond the boundary, 45 metres out, right foot kick on the way. It's an absolute ripper. Cooper Sharman with a stellar set shot for his second. And he pulls the margin back to 31 points. 31 minutes gone, final term. The Cats 17-11, 113 to the Saints 12-10, 82.
Beautiful finish from Coop. I like the ball from Maxie Hall. I'm a bit of a Maxie Hall fan, I must admit, for the Saints. Number 40, a handful of games. He's really emerged this year, and I reckon he's a real hard worker. He reminds me of the Myers close sort of mould. He gets up the ground, he gets involved, and he pushes back really hard, makes good decisions more often than not, can use the ball all right. That's a real plus, I reckon, for the Saints this year. It was a beautiful delivery to Cooper Sharman for him to take that mark in the pocket.
We're up to going to hit 32 minutes again this quarter. So that's every quarter over 32. Something's going wrong when we're that long.
Too many reviews.
It'll be a pretty quick vote turnaround here too, Berkey, because we're off to the Adelaide Oval in 4 minutes. So exciting afternoon of footy coming up. And Geelong just doing enough here to keep the Saints at bay all afternoon, despite being challenged a couple of times and a few questions asked. Free kick in the middle, going away of Geelong. Nana leaves it for Bowes, who flies from behind. Sinclair there to Rove. Works the 1-2 with Hall, then forced it off his left.
12.
And another one to the tally.
12. I missed it. There we go.
Out of bounds on the full.
12. It's got to be some sort of record.
Exactly. No one can find the footy.
It's stuck on the magnet.
Someone tried to pinch it.
Yeah, well, eventually about a 5-year-old kid popped up with it, so no one could see him while he was sorting it out between a couple of seats. Hands it back, and now the Cats are into attack. Bowes looking fresh as he's come on as the sub, and that is enough for this afternoon. And Geelong will be pretty happy. A comfortable victory in the end. Some positive signs for the Saints. But the Cats bank a little bit of percentage and an important 4 points.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball. We play the game as it should be played, at home or far away. Our banners fly high from dawn to dark, down at Gardenia Park.
So what an afternoon where Jeremy Cameron was leading goal kicker on the ground with 5. Geelong run out winners. 17-11, 113 to St Kilda, 12-10, 82. We got 2 minutes before we're off to the Adelaide Oval. An interesting afternoon. Berkey will get you 3, 2 and 1. Very short summary of the game.
Okay, here's my 3, 2, 1, then half you can sum it up. Cameron, he didn't get any votes. Kicked 5, but it was a lazy 5.
Yep.
I've given 1 to Holmes for 32, 4-quarter effort, 2 to Wanganeen Malera, 36 for 2 goals too. And when the game was there to be won early, Sean Manor, 23 possessions and 3 goals, 3. He gets 3 votes.
Spot on. Both teams winning 2 quarters each this game. So you look at that, you think, oh, all the Saints have got a bit to like. But when they get beaten and when they lose track of the contest, and they got exposed very, very clearly. So Ross will be annoyed about that. Chris Scott walks away with a little bit of work to do, I reckon. I reckon they wouldn't be overly wrapped with the way that phase of that game was played, particularly at the venue. So they've still got some screws to tighten down, which we talked about pre-game. But a 31-point victory is probably all you need at the end of the day at this stage for the Cats, and consolidate their position inside the top 8 at the moment. So in the end, a bit of an arm wrestle at times. Opened up through the middle phases of it. Both teams walk away with something. The Cats get the all-important 4 points.
17-11, 113 to 12-10, 82. So Geelong walk away, as you said, Arf, with a very important 4 points. Thank you very much for your work this afternoon alongside Nathan.
Pleasure.
Your experts here at Kardinia Park. Joel Peterson, always great to call with you. Big thanks to Lauren downstairs, who'll get an interview for us as well and send it back so our Cats fans can have a listen to that later on. And thanks to Leah and Zane as well, always in control. So Geelong, 17-11, 113. Too good for St Kilda, 12-10, 82. And they are now entrenched inside the top 4, at least for the moment. Off to the Adelaide Oval and Quinton Hull next. What an afternoon.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
It's all on the line. Here we go. And the moment of truth has arrived. What a matchup this is. What a game. The umpire holds the footy up. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth.
On ABC Sport, this is the AFL.
Oh, there's a bit to get excited about.
The intense